It is 9:59. Good morning from the 104.5 The Zone studios. I'm Lucas Panzico. We are headed to Game 7 in the NBA Finals as the Indiana Pacers routed the Oklahoma City Thunder at home 108-91 at Gainbridge Fieldhouse to take Game 6. 6 different players in double figures for the Pacers. Tyrese Halliburton did play through the calf injury, ended up with 14 points. Game 7 will be Sunday night in Oklahoma City. College World Series, the National Championship Series, begins tomorrow night in Omaha. Coastal Carolina and LSU throwing first pitch at 6 p.m. For all your foundation repairs and waterproofing needs, visit USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans and Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone.
Not going out sad. That was the story of last night's Game 6 in the NBA Finals. Indiana Pacers getting it done, forcing a Game 7 for the first time in franchise history. Good morning. Happy Friday. Morale is through the roof. We got Robert. We got Lucas. You got me until 1 o'clock, 615-737-1045. F&M Bank chat open for business. If you would like to get involved, I think that this is going to be an electric Game 7 on Sunday night. I'm so glad the series has gone to 7. I'm so glad the Pacers whipped that ass at home in their final game in Indianapolis. And it was, I'm not going to lie, I walked in there with zero confidence after the way that they performed, after the Tyrese Halliburton injury, dealing with the calf strain, understanding he was going to play. Last night, they limited his minutes. What did you say? He had 14 points?
He had 14 points, Tyrese Halliburton, on 5 of 12, shooting 5 assists.
In 23 minutes. So efficient.
But his plus-minus was plus 25.
Right. Efficiency is the key there, and that was the story of the night. It was a really, it's arguably the worst game I've seen the Thunder play in this playoffs.
Oh, yeah. I mean, if we want to keep talking about plus-minuses, J-Dub dropped a 40-burger in Game 5, minus 40. In the plus-minus, when you look at the stat sheet. Just the box score up and down the Thunder starting lineup. Holmgren, minus 11. Jalen Williams, minus 40. Hartenstein, minus 12. SGA, minus 17. And Dort, minus 28. Whereas for the Pacers, mentioned Halliburton, plus 25. You've got Nesmith, plus 24. Miles Turner, plus 19 off the bench as well. Plus 8 for Obi Toppin, who led them with in scoring with 20 points. What a comprehensive, backs against the wall, refuse to lose performance by the Pacers at home.
And that's who they are.
Playing through the injury to boot.
And that's who they are. Brandon Rushing points out, didn't they get beat by like 42 against the T-Wolves? Yeah, but I think this game was worse. I think they were all collectively inefficient across the board. They didn't have any answers. For basically 3/4 of that basketball game, it felt like it was the Pacers' game to lose. And while that would be probably the second worst game that they've played, they also handled that series. What did they beat the T-Wolves in, 5? I mean, it was not.
Yeah, they handled that series pretty well, but Brandon makes a good point on the F&M Bank chat that they've done this from time to time, and then they come out, as he says, with their hair on fire the next game.
The concern. That's the concern, that you smacked the potential champion in the mouth and that they're getting ready to smack you back at home. That would be the biggest thing, because you could look at it in 2 different ways, right? And this is the unique part about a first of 4 series. You have a couple of different things here. Do you want to traffic in momentum and hope, if you're the Pacers, and say, well, the momentum is in Indianapolis's favor or Indiana's favor. They are going to go on the road to OKC. It'll be tough. The Thunder will play better, but the momentum, the unquantifiable, intangible momentum, it looks like it's on the Pacers' side after, at various points getting up by 30 last night. Or you could take the approach that Brandon is pointing out, which is completely fair, which is, all right, you hit them, and you hit them hard, and they laid down. I mean, they laid down. They were throwing up junk at the end. Chet Holmgren should never shoot that much ever in that situation. It's not like Chet's a bad player or a bad offensive player, but like the shot selection that the Thunder were taking last night, to me, screamed of desperation.
Yeah, it was less about the amount of field goals attempted and more about the shot selection for Holmgren. I mean, he attempted 9 field goals, right, where he was 4 of 15 in Game 5. Like, it's not about the pure number of shots, but yeah, they were just grasping for straws. This game felt over. You know, at halftime, you didn't want to rule out a comeback, but
I felt bad. Like, I was scared that they were up that big.
Oh, yeah. Well,
do you ever experience that when you're watching your favorite teams, either
I
of
guess
you?
that's, what do we call that? If Vols have BVS, would that be BIS? BPS? I don't know. Indiana?
I don't know. I used to deal with playoff P. So
IBS?
This experience is much better than playoff P Paul George, which sounds like a venereal disease that needs some kind of antibiotic to cure it.
Playoff P is a crazy nickname for someone who has never won a title.
Yeah. That's Paul George.
Shout out to Ben Shepherd, former Belmont Bruin. 7 points off the bench, 5 rebounds, a couple of steals, and they went deep into the bench, the Indiana Pacers. Played everybody.
And they have to, right? That is the nature of their game, right? They're going to rely on TJ McConnell. They got critical rest for Halliburton throughout the course of that game. They managed his minutes. It ended up being successful because he had a wide open look from 3 very, very early on in the initial minutes, and he missed. And I was like, oh my God, if he's going to miss those shots, then they have no chance. And I just kept feeling that way. And then OKC was having trouble scoring as much as Indiana was, and finally Indiana just started breaking through and just raining down threes. And Pascal Siakam is God. I don't know if he's praying to a higher power or a lower power or whatever was happening in that huddle when his eyes rolled to the back of his head and it looked like he was a bit possessed. If he sold his soul to the basketball devil last night, that's fine. I am such a fan of Pascal Siakam, who still didn't break 20 points. It doesn't feel like he does ever.
Yeah, 16 and 13 for Siakam.
But he's so good. He's so critical to what it is that they do. Such an underrated player. And, you know, depending on how Halliburton performs in Game 7, if the Pacers are able to win, I think there is an argument to be made, a good argument to be made for him as the series MVP.
I love how the Pacers are just like the mid-major kings out there. Like Pascal Siakam, New Mexico State. Obi Toppin was a stud at Dayton, an absolute star.
Was he a number 1 overall pick that year?
To the Knicks. I can't remember if he was number 1 overall. Oh, man, I remember him just dominating.
I don't think he was. I think he was like second or third.
He was either, but he was the best player in college basketball the year.
8th overall.
Who went first in that draft?
Hell, TJ McConnell is Duquesne, but then Arizona. So he is a P4 guy. I guess then it was P5 in the Pac-12. So, yeah, Ben Shepherd, as we mentioned, from Belmont, and Aaron Nesmith, another little local impact out of Vanderbilt.
Well, and he's not had a good series. He's not had a good final series. He was critical against the Knicks, but he's last night was the best performance that he's had. But otherwise, he's been, I would say, largely disappointing through that first 5 games. You need everybody. You need everybody to take a team like this down. They are excellent, and they had a bad night.
So your VBS, I think, would be PMS.
What did you call it?
It would be Pacers meltdown.
What did you call the first one?
VBS?
I think you flipped it. It's
Vols battered syndrome.
BVS.
Oh, that's where I went to Vacation Bible School. That's my fault. You would be PMS. That would be Pacers meltdown syndrome.
That's fitting.
Yeah, that makes sense.
That adds up. If they win the title, Indiana, it is going to be electric. I don't know what I haven't paid a lick of attention to the basketball ratings. I know we were kind of talking about that with the hockey and how little it seemed people, or at least a national audience, was engaged in the Stanley Cup, even though the Stanley Cup was excellent. And, the final game, Game 6, was not close. What was it, 5-1, 4-1 in favor of the Panthers for back-to-back? But it's just been exquisite basketball. It's been excellent. And the thing that drives me insane about the way that this series has been covered, and I'm really disappointed in ESPN, to be honest with you. And I don't know that this gets better with Inside the NBA going to ESPN, by the way. I just think the coverage has been terrible. It's the first time in my life where I feel like it's not even like the coverage is slanted against my team or anything like that. It's just that they don't seem to know how to talk about it. When it's not relying on major dramatic storylines like the TMZ elements of the NBA that it seems that the league traffics in, they keep showing me Kevin Durant trade conversations. I don't care about that. I'm watching the NBA Finals. the Caitlin Clark situation that continues to be not overcovered. Caitlin Clark is obviously a star. She accounts for what was it, like 26% of the WNBA's league revenue in her rookie year. She is a story worth covering. But they're sitting up there on their dais and they're talking about Caitlin Clark in the middle of the NBA Finals. It's perplexing to me. The basketball is so good. These players are stars. The MVP of the league is participating in this series, and you can't give me legitimate basketball analysis during your pregame shows? It's making me insane.
Yeah. Charles Barkley and company are much needed.
But I don't think that helps. Like, what's the biggest criticism of that show?
That it's a lot of buffoonery and chicanery.
Not even that. It's that they're dismissive. It's that they seemingly don't like the current product, and that a lot of times their dialogue, while it's way more entertaining than Stephen A. screaming at Bob Myers or whatever the hell they're doing on the ESPN pregame and halftime and postgame shows, it's that they're very dismissive of the game. So I don't know that the coverage of, if it was Inside the NBA doing this as opposed to the current ESPN broadcast crew or the pregame crew, right, that it would be appreciably better, because I love Inside the NBA. It is, without question, the best studio show. I mean, I guess College Game Day is a studio show, right?
Yeah, we could call it that. Yeah.
Okay, so 1A and 1B, however you want to stack them, it's Inside the NBA and College Game Day. And they're so entertaining, and they're so good at what they do, except that they don't seem to like the product that they are currently watching, and that I don't want that either.
It's going to be better. It's going to be so much better.
It is going to be better, Lucas, but that's not my point. Like, my point is that as a product, the NBA is suffering from the coverage, I think, as much as the lack of interest, because the coverage doesn't seem to be interested in the product. And I'm sure there's a bunch of different factors there, and some people will throw out the political stuff that hasn't mattered in, 5 years. I think those people are lazy. I think those people just don't seem to be interested in basketball and want something to bitch about. And that's fine, too. Just take it elsewhere. I don't care about you. I care about basketball discussion. I want to hear the analysis. And I don't know where I'm going to get it other than going out to find Zach Lowe's podcast or Ryan Russ. And those things exist, and I'm grateful for those. But I just want analysis of the game.
But that's the NBA. Like, if Kevin Durant announced his destination, or we learned where Kevin Durant was going to play next year,
everything.
It would overtake every single segment.
And I hate
there wouldn't
that.
be a second spent on how the Pacers dominated Game 6 to force a Game 7 in the NBA Finals.
No, I know.
And I don't think...
Lucas, it's already happening, and he doesn't even have a destination.
Right.
These Shams hits on these countdown shows are getting more traction than them talking about the game. But it's also, I don't care what Stephen A. has to say about the Pacers.
And I don't think it would matter what markets were in the finals, too. Like, I think it could be
I agree.
New York versus Dallas or L.A.
I don't
or
know
whoever.
if it was the Knicks and the Lakers.
I still think that Kevin Durant and where he's going to land next season would dominate every segment.
If LeBron was facing New York in the finals, I think that it would be a topic, but it would be an ancillary topic, because you're talking about the two biggest markets in the country.
It would be a topic because it's LeBron. Like, the NBA is more dominated by individual star power than any sport on the planet.
It's LeBron, but also the two biggest television markets. What I'm saying is they care about their basketball too.
Yeah.
And LeBron is a part of that, of course. So it adds gasoline to the fire. But I think that's the one exception. If you had, the T-Wolves in here or the Bucks or whatever the case may be, I completely agree with you, except for those two markets. I think it would dominate everything that's going on in sports. What do you got, Robert?
You asked about the ratings this year. They're averaging about 9.18 million viewers per game. That is down 19% compared to last year's 5-game series.
And the basketball's so much better this time around. So much better. And like down 19%, that doesn't surprise me. I'm not disheartened by that. I'm disheartened by the people who are tasked with the coverage of this series, not giving the people who are actually, the 9 million of us who are actually watching this basketball, the basketball analysis that we are there for, because we're fans of the sport. It's so much fun to be a fan of this sport and to watch it. I went to a bar with some buddies that are Pacers fans last night in Germantown, and it was so cool to see the way that the crowd gets up for every shot. And obviously it was Pacers heavy last night. I don't know how many OKC fans are wandering around the city of Nashville. I'm sure they exist. But it's such an electric atmosphere. And I got to ignore the coverage last night because I was sitting at a bar taking it all in and fearing every time that they got up by double digits that the Thunder would come roaring back, no pun intended. But all in all, I just hope people appreciate the product at the end of the day as opposed to the dialogue around the product, because the dialogue around the product doesn't matter, even as we sit here doing basically an infomercial to get you from game to game for 3 hours a day.
Stephen A. and his comments about Memphis generated more buzz around here than anything that's happened in these actual games.
Well, it's because he's race baiting. I mean, Stephen A. is playing into, it's not just sports commentary that Stephen A. is doing there. He's doing a bit of the political stuff too, and I'm not talking about like race baiting in the way that people normally get upset about race baiting. He's trafficking in some very convenient narratives about Memphis that are not true, even relative to the rest of the NBA markets. 615-737-1045 is the number, is how you jump in if you would like to. You can talk about the NBA Finals if you would like. You can talk about the coverage of them. We will get into some NFL headlines. You have some?
A couple.
They're next. The Tennessee Men's Clinic is here to help you like they've helped so many guys over the course of the last decade plus here in Middle Tennessee, because a lot of guys start to get frustrated, whether you're tired or you're dragging, things just aren't working like they used to, and you chalk those up to a part of the aging process. It doesn't have to be inevitable. That's why the Tennessee Men's Clinic is here to help you. They don't do guesswork. They make it happen. Real science, real treatments, no gimmicks, no online quick fixes that just leave you frustrated. Online pills are too expensive and generic to just not work. The Tennessee Men's Clinic, their medical providers build a plan around you, your body, your goals, and what it takes to get you back to feeling like yourself again. Whether it's testosterone, ED treatments, or so many other different treatment paths that a lot of guys don't even know exist. The Tennessee Men's Clinic is there to serve you like they have for so many others. So visit their website online today at TennesseeMen'sClinic.com. That's TennesseeMen'sClinic.com, or call them 615-208-9090.
It's time for NFL headlines with Lucas Panzica.
I mean, Jesus Christ.
Shador Sanders is in the news. Will you let me do this?
Just gonna ignore.
You're just going to run this over?
It was fine.
Again, no one's derailing the show but you.
It was 5 minutes.
Oh, you're joking.
It's the same way we've always done it. I don't know why you keep this bit up.
20 seconds, dude.
It's like that meme from Titanic. It's been 84 years since the segment started.
Shador Sanders is in the news.
Oh, good.
For a speeding citation for driving 101 this week. And it's not the first time that he's been cited for speeding in Ohio this month. So according to a Medina Municipal Court record that was filed on June 6, Sanders was pulled over by the Ohio State Patrol earlier this month. This is from ESPN. In that alleged violation, which took place June 5th in Brunswick Hills, Ohio, the Ohio State Patrol told WJW-TV that Sanders was stopped for driving 91 in a 65. So he's going fast. And Shador Sanders was in a local softball game organized, was it David Njoku, you said, the Browns tight end? And this was Shador Sanders talking about his speeding citation.
Robert's on the phone.
Okay, we'll get to Shador Sanders later.
Do you have that Shador audio at your convenience? It's not a big deal if you don't. He just set it up. He didn't know you was on your phone. He's very disrespectful of you.
I can't help it. Just give me a second.
Okay. I mean, you can help it.
Here, I'll just distract you 1 second.
Okay. No.
I'll be back. 1 second.
I don't want it. No means no.
Yeah, I don't really have it.
Okay. Actually, you're not.
It's in the
Twitter group.
Oh, okay. I'll find it.
Okay.
So
Friday form. We had a day off. We're a little rusty. Shake it off, boys.
So that's what is happening with Shador right now. He's speeding in Ohio. He's in the midst of a quarterback competition with a million different people in it. And a lot of people kind of challenge Shador, right? Tom Brady publicly, Deion Sanders talking about, okay, now it's about what you do with it. Doesn't matter where you were drafted. It's about what you do once you get there. And look, Shador Sanders speeding a couple of times in Ohio in the month of June isn't going to prevent him from being a good NFL quarterback. But it does feel like the type of stuff that is easily avoidable that can just continue to have people pile on to Shador Sanders, especially when he's just kind of dismissive of it like he was when speaking about it during this softball game.
I know I'll be vibing, bro.
He's just a regular kid. Like, what's wrong with you?
I'm just a little boy.
He didn't do nothing wrong. I haven't seen anything wrong.
He's talking about overall life. You know, I made some wrong choices personally, and I got owned up to him. I made some, not great choices.
He said
I'm just a little boy. I've made some wrong choices. I can own up to it.
I mean, he couldn't sound like a bigger douche than that, right?
Yeah, like, come on, man.
All right.
He's got like this cheeky smile.
Yeah, no,
I'm just a little boy.
Well, you can hear it. It's just the rare smile that you can hear through the radio,
What's
right?
that? Is Fred Armisen? I don't even remember the show, Robert.
I'm just a baby.
I'm just a baby.
I don't have any money.
I can pay you in blocks.
So this is fair criticism from Duck on YouTube, who says no smoke for Zach Edey for speeding, and I don't think it was quite the same rate of speed. Was he going? He was going 100 miles an hour, right?
I think it was 101 and a 60 was what we read.
101 and a 55.
Oh, now it's been reduced.
For Edey. This is for Edey.
He faced a reckless driving charge in Indiana.
And that's more impressive because think about how much more weight he's got in a car to get it up that fast.
I don't even know how he gets in cars.
Or how he even sends the brain
What kind of car
signals.
do you think he drives?
Oof. It should say in the article.
It does not say the make or model.
They only document Shador's mode of vehicle, and this is his
I don't
criticism.
see what Shador's vehicle was in here.
It's
truck.
a Dodge truck.
Oh.
Adam Schefter listed it in the report, a black Dodge truck.
Oh, yeah.
Duck says no smoke for Edey for speeding Indiana. Nobody cares about Zach Edey. Shador Sanders is an infinitely more polarizing and popular person. He's an infinitely more famous person. And so, I mean, yes, Zach Edey should also not be doing this. That's fine. But Shador Sanders is somebody who is going to grab more headlines. You can make it about something other than that if you want to. I don't think that that's what that is. I think it's just Shador Sanders. It could, if Johnny Manziel with a different kind of polarization, right? But anytime Manziel wasn't good at football, he was just polarizing, so he grabbed all these headlines all the time. Here's the problem with Shador, okay? He is proving teams right with the attitude. And it doesn't mean that he can't have attitude or that he can't have confidence or that he can't be dismissive about certain things if he's good enough to warrant those things. He is not.
He's fourth on the depth chart right now.
He is. So people were citing how, like, what a great completion percentage he had in Brown's minicamp and Brown's OTAs and things like that, and his touchdown versus interception ratio in routes on air and 11 on 11 without pads on. And that's fine. The thing that they don't point out when they point that out is that he is the only one of those quarterbacks that didn't get reps with the ones in Cleveland. Dylan Gabriel, Flacco, Pickett, all of them took reps with the ones except for Shedeur. Doesn't mean that Shedeur should be left for dead. I heard Rob Parker on Fox Sports, I think it was last night, talking about that they should cut him. That they should just flatly cut him. And I don't think that's true either. But
they might eventually.
They could.
They got to go down to 53 at some point.
They could. He's giving them reasons to.
Yeah, like don't make it easy on him.
You should not be, and it's not based on who he is or, how it's not a shut up and dribble thing, but he's not even a backup quarterback. He's the fourth string quarterback in Cleveland. That's an utter wasteland. I don't want to hear anything but football things from Shedeur. And I know that's a version of shut up and dribble, but I'm talking about the problem stuff. He should, what's he doing driving 100 miles an hour in the middle of the night?
Yeah.
You can have a driver.
And doing it multiple times in the same month. Like, Shedeur is a unique example of you are going to have a spotlight on you. There is a reputation around you. You fell in the NFL draft for a reason. So just don't make it easy for people. And this is, by definition, just making it easy.
You're making it so easy.
Yeah, getting in these headlines and then dismissing it and laughing it off in just kind of that immature way. It's like, dude, just stop proving people right.
It's gross.
Like, even if you're rooting for Shedeur Sanders here, you've got to be sitting back like, dude, please just stop proving people right.
And there's something to the idea of maybe he's just being obstinate, for the sake of, like, that's his way of dealing with the criticism. He's just going to be like, well, I don't care, this, that, and the other. He's going to be blasé about it. There are people who want to see Shedeur Sanders fail. There are people who want to see Shedeur Sanders fail just by nature of his father. They're still holding whatever issues they had with Deion's personality against Shedeur. I think those people are dumb. I also think the people who are rooting for Shedeur Sanders to actively fail shouldn't be. But I don't want him to give those people extra fuel. I want to see all of these people succeed. I want to see Cam Ward succeed. I want to see Shedeur Sanders succeed. I want to see Trevor Lawrence. Hell, Anthony Richardson. Like, all of these players, as long as you're not the worst human being like Isaiah Wilson, I want to see you succeed in the NFL. Do not give people additional reasons to prey on your downfall, especially as a fourth-string quarterback. And more importantly than just the external, don't give the organization any reason to think that any additional reason to think that you're a problem.
Yeah, like, they've got other quarterbacks. They have multiple other quarterbacks. You are not a first-round pick. You are not somebody that they've invested enough in to not have to worry about your place. You very much have to worry about your place. They've got to cut one or two of these guys. We put it to a poll, which Browns quarterback won't make it to the 53-man roster: Flacco, Pickett, Gabriel, or Sanders. Right now, Shedeur is bottom of that pecking order. If Shedeur didn't have the name Shedeur Sanders and wasn't talked about as one of the top two quarterback prospects going into the draft, he would be the guy that everybody would be dismissing. If Shedeur Sanders was Bill Smith out of Utah that the Browns took a flyer on late in the draft after drafting Dylan Gabriel in the third round, he would be the guy that everybody would be looking at as, okay, well, clearly you can go ahead and write that guy off with pencil. He's not going to make it on this roster. There's already too many quarterbacks. They've got veterans. They've got a third-round draft pick. So I don't know who the most likely is between those four. It's actually a fascinating conversation. Flacco, Pickett, Gabriel, or Shedeur. Who's most likely to be the first to go?
Oh, first to go?
Yeah. Like, I truly have no idea.
Pickett feels like an easy one. Shedeur gives you heat whether you keep him or whether you cut him.
And Robert posed the question before the show, who have they invested the least in of those four?
Pickett. They didn't draft him. The money is not consequential.
Well, the least they've invested in is Flacco.
They traded. Wait, did they trade for Pickett?
Yes, but it was a late-round draft pick.
It was a fifth-round pick, and Dorian Thompson-Robinson, the quarterback, former UCLA quarterback, to Philly in exchange for Kenny Pickett. So they did let go of a draft pick. to acquire him.
But Flacco is probably, I know a lot of people were saying, Kenny Pickett's the odds-on favorite to be the week 1 starter. Joe Flacco starting week 1. Joe Flacco starting.
But they've also invested very little in Joe Flacco.
Right.
No, but he knows the system. He knows the verbiage.
Oh, sure.
I don't think the coaching staff wanted to let him go in the first place. They just had that Deshaun thing hanging over their necks or hanging around
Myles
their necks.
Garrett. You just had the Myles Garrett thing. Like, you can't have Kenny Pickett, who hasn't shown any propensity to lead anybody outside of a team that was going to go 500 with or without him to the playoffs. Like, if you're trying to keep the team happy, like, they're cuts from Browns camp. Go look at David Njoku at practice. Go look at any of their leaders on offense in practice. Like, everyone's excited. No one's acting like anything's out of the ordinary, or they're
but that's
going to come at. I would say
that's every camp in the
if you
NFL
were a good player, if you were David Njoku and you were at the peak of your career, would you not do the same thing Myles Garrett was doing? And be like, get me out of here. Let me go play with somebody good while I'm good. And he's not. I haven't heard any noise about that. He's
Sorry, go ahead.
compensated. No, you're good.
And I was saying, you bring this up all the time, like with the Van Jefferson thing. It's like he's one of 3 receivers that have ever done anything in the NFL. Yeah, but look at the money. Like, we can't sit here and say he's a lock. Joe Flacco, 1 year, $4 million. That, to me, is equivalent to paying a wide receiver almost vet minimum.
Oh, but it's so different.
That's
It's
basically
so
vet minimum for a quarterback.
No. It for sure is. It is. It's not vet minimum, but it is vet minimum for a quarterback, to your point.
Like, if you have any excuse to cut ties with that guy.
Context here is very important. The Van Jefferson comparison, what's the defensive back's name last year that they cut?
Jamal Adams. That's just to say, pay attention to the money. That's pennies.
Yes. No, I completely understand your point, but this is different where Cleveland is playing Russian roulette with their quarterback.
Yeah. I don't know what the best case scenario even is for Cleveland. I have no clue. Is it that Dylan Gabriel is just kind of this diamond in the rough, drafted higher than anybody really projected, and he just has a grasp of the offense? He'll just put the ball where it needs to go.
No, I think the best case scenario is that Flacco starts and you sit Gabriel, and if Gabriel's something, then he eventually takes over, right? They don't have to play him right away. Don't throw him out there before he's ready. There is zero reason to throw one of those, whichever one it is, whether it's Sanders or it's Gabriel. There is zero reason with 4 quarterbacks in that room and this cluster bleep that they've created for you to force a rookie into action beyond just feeling fan pressure or Jimmy Haslam gets a wild hair.
Quick reminder, Robert, if you could please do me the honor of finding me here, to join me, Lucas Panzica, this Sunday, hanging out at Fog Street Lawn Club, gearing up for another U.S. men's national team kickoff. It is Nashville's best soccer destination, featuring British-style lawn bowling, authentic pub fare. The shepherd's pie wonton rolls were fantastic yesterday, and a match day atmosphere that's perfect for fans.
What is shepherd's pie?
Oh, come on. You never had shepherd's pie?
No.
It's
like meat and carrots.
It's literally like
chicken pot pie?
Ground.
Except for the pie shell is mashed potatoes. They put mashed potatoes over the top of it and then bake.
It's like a layer.
They put those in wontons?
It's a layer of ground beef, vegetables, and mashed potatoes. It's a British classic. That's what I ordered, yesterday.
They're really
shepherd's
good.
Pie wonton rolls. They're
Cheyenne
fantastic.
got the vegetable wonton rolls. They were really good as well.
A lot of good food there. Lawn bowling on the rooftop. The best view of downtown Nashville you can find on a rooftop. Grab your friends. Wear your red, white, and blue. I'll see you guys Sunday at Fog Street Lawn Club. I'll be there at 4. The game starts at 6.
615-7. Well, actually, we're not going to do phone calls. We've got more headlines, and I spent 20 minutes on that. So,
C.J. Mosley is hanging it up, retiring from the NFL, making the decision official on his 33rd birthday. So, Robert, should we wish a happy birthday to legend C.J. Mosley?
I love you.
I think it's funny that he wished C.J. Mosley a happy birthday today, but did not wish his fiance a happy birthday earlier this week.
Oh, that's tough, dude.
I love you, Megan.
Tough look.
She's in town for her birthday. Instead of throwing her a birthday party, they're throwing a dog the birthday party. And Megan be a part of it.
She's also on the graphic.
It is the dog and her.
That's right. It's a dual birth. She's honored to share a birthday party with that dog.
But you said who first in the birthday party order, Robert?
Case.
Uh-huh.
Mace. It's a Megan Case birthday party. The dog's 15, all right? It's probably his last one. Rick Ritter.
Don't say that. Don't say that. You guys have said that
We've
the
been
last
saying it
4
for years. Yeah.
I'm going to do the doggy math to figure out how old Case actually is.
He's old.
Well, didn't they change the math on dog years?
You are correct.
Yeah.
So it's like 7 years, but that's only through the first few years. And then after like a certain amount of years, then it goes to like 5.5 years and just... It's tough math. I'll be doing that back here while you guys are doing the show.
So C.J. Mosley hangs it up, drafted as a first-rounder to Baltimore, of course, in the 2014 draft. Spent the last 6 years of his career with the New York Jets. 5-time second-team All-Pro, 5-time Pro Bowler. Rick Ritter, a Baltimore news anchor, reports that he's told C.J. Mosley was hoping for a reunion in Baltimore to chase a championship, give it one last go-around, and that there was some mutual interest there, but he unfortunately could not get cleared with his neck injury. How
many players do the Ravens need?
I mean, it would have been the definition of like a vibes signing, right? Like the guy played in 4 games last year. I mean, he's at the end of the line here, but it would have just been a cool thing for the Ravens to have. Like basically when a player retires or signs with the team for a day, like Jarrell Casey did to Brett Kern to quote unquote retire with that team.
Yeah, but
it would have been like that.
Ring chasing, yeah.
But for a whole season.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know how much of an impact he would have had.
One more. Oh, wait, you have an update on the dog years?
Yes, Case is believed to be roughly 76 to 83 years old in human years.
We're for sure. We are now officially in the window of it could be his last.
Well, the thing that stinks is his mind is as sharp as ever. It's his body, his legs that can barely support him anymore.
How much would you say he weighs? Would he be 21 to 50 pounds or 51 to 90 pounds?
He's 51 to 90.
Yeah, he's definitely
okay. Then
over
he is
50,
actually
man.
90 to 100 human years. Unfortunately for Case,
He's a big dog, big sausage body.
One more headline.
That's it.
Okay, very good. You had 2?
I had to, buddy. It's June 20th.
There's mini camps going on right now. Lamar Jackson is speaking at the podium. Aren't the Chiefs in minicamp right now?
Chiefs are. I mean, nothing's come out of it. I mean, other than Josh Simmons will be ready to go for camp. Their offensive tackle that they drafted this year.
All right, very good. Those are the headlines. Coming up next, we have an SEC stat of the day. Do we have things to give away for Friday Fire?
oh boy, do we! Could I potentially get a drum roll for this? Can you guys set that up in there? No, we have nothing to give away.
All right, very good. Friday Fire at 11:45. SEC stat of the day next.
No. Let me out.
Why is he acting like he's the one
I'm
locked
trapped
in the sec dungeon?
I am the one that feels trapped.
No, this is your sec dungeon, pervert.
I'm more trapped in this thing than anybody.
It's the water in the back.
Yeah, it's the dripping sound.
Very moist.
God.
Where would the sec dungeon be? Would it be in Louisiana? Would it be in Alabama? Like, where would it be?
No, what's the basement of the SEC? It'd be at Vanderbilt.
Them or Mississippi State?
Right now, Mississippi State is in a much worse off
and it's
place
probably
than Vanderbilt.
humid there.
And Starkville, Mississippi just sounds like somewhere you don't want to be.
My buddy was hanging out with us at Fog Street last night. Robert was there. It was a great time. And he's a huge Mississippi State fan. And we were talking about just how down bad that program is. Lifeless at the moment.
He didn't yell at you like those Ole Miss kids yelled at me the other day at Mother's Ruin. We need to be talking.
Why don't you talk about our team?
I mean, they were a bunch of Ole Miss grads. They looked like they were pretty fresh out. Not yelling at me, but like asking me why we're not giving more respect to Ole Miss football.
Did they have the whole thing going on? The bow tie?
They literally looked. I mean,
the whole thing
straight out of Ole Miss.
What is it? What do they wear? Seersucker? Is that what it is?
They could have been tailgating at the Grove earlier that day.
I like to imagine they just wear bow ties everywhere.
It was 2 a.m. and they had Croakies on. I'm like, what are you doing, sir? Who still wears Croakies?
So, the stat of the day, 5 College World Series appearances in the last 8 years. 12 all-time. 0 championships. That is the story of Arkansas baseball. The best program at the college level, regardless of sport in the country, to not have won a national championship in their respective sport. I'm comfortable saying that. If anybody has a better submission, my mind is wide open. 615-737-1045. Let us know.
College national championship?
Is there a better program in any sport that has not gotten over that hump of winning a national title than Arkansas? Did you see how they melted down on Wednesday night?
It was really bad.
Facing LSU in the national semifinal, a chance to get back to the national championship series, which they have not been to since 2018, when they had that disastrous choke job of not catching a pop out because they weren't communicating correctly on a foul ball that was the final out and would have won them the national championship. Oregon State went on to win. It is one of the biggest choke jobs in college sports history, at least in the modern day. So, on Wednesday, up 5-3. Going into the bottom of the 9th against LSU. They are 3 outs away from heading to the national championship series. They strike out the leadoff batter, 2 outs away from going to the national championship series. LSU puts a runner into scoring position with a throwing error by the Arkansas first baseman. Okay, runner on, 1 out, still 5-3. Arkansas walks a batter. Runners on first and second, still 1 out in the bottom of the 9th, 5-3 the score. And then a ball gets kind of blooped out to left field. And the left fielder just totally misjudges it, kind of just looked like he had no idea what angle the ball was going to come down at. It was
choice.
It was so awkward. Yeah, it was awkward. And then that scores a couple of runs. I need baseball people to explain to me how that's not an error, how that doesn't go down as an error because it looked like the definition of one to me. I digress. 5-5 the score at that point. Arkansas is reeling, you can tell. And then here comes the game winner.
As you can see him there in the foreground, he is the winning run. He does get one to hit. It's off the glove of the second baseman, and here comes Hernandez. LSU is on to the finals. They pitched to Jones, and it bounced off the glove of Cam Kojal, and the Tigers are going back to the finals.
Right off the glove.
Brutal.
Of the second baseman. So you have the error by the first baseman, you have the disaster out in left field, and then the game winner, the walk-off, right off the glove of the second baseman. LSU is headed to the National Championship Series. They're going to look for yet another title. They're looking to extend this SEC streak of national champions to 6 in a row, and looking to do it against pesky Coastal Carolina, who has won 26 games in a row heading into the National Championship Series that begins on Saturday. Robert, correct me if I'm wrong, Big Boss Bert, we will have the Westwood One call of the National Championship Series this weekend?
That is correct.
All right. Tomorrow at 6 p.m., first pitch in Omaha.
That Arkansas LSU play. Do you remember the 2018 College World Series with Arkansas and Oregon State?
Thank you for listening to the show. Yes, I detailed everything that happened at the end of that game.
Okay.
Yep.
I missed that.
But yeah, like that's what I'm saying. In the F&M Bank chat, Brent with a 3 instead of an E submits Florida State baseball. 24 World Series appearances, 0 titles.
Oh, my God.
Obviously, they went out in heartbreaking fashion to Tennessee last year in Omaha. But I think of, when it comes to the question, who is the most overdue program or professional franchise in sports, Arkansas baseball comes to mind. You can make an argument.
In pro sports, too?
Just generally. You can make an argument that Dave Van Horn has put together, like FSU baseball, yes, but that's over so many years, so many coaches. Dave Van Horn has put together one of the absolute best programs in the country. His coaching tree is crazy. Obviously, Tony Vitello comes from that coaching tree, and he's still, they're literally the Omahogs. It's their nickname. And they still don't have that national championship. They've made history at every turn, throwing the third no-hitter in men's College World Series history the other day.
I can't have
still
them more
no national
cursed
title.
than the Bills.
Yeah, they're not more cursed than the Bills. 4 Super Bowl losses in a row is like an unfathomable level of cursed.
Wild.
So,
And
maybe we
Arkansas has
separate
been
college
there.
and pro.
I think you should make it 2 separate categories, because if you made me pick the one, how did you phrase the poll?
Well, again, you did. I don't know why we keep playing this game. I'll have to pull it up because I don't know how you phrased it. Again, you're just making everything difficult on all of us as usual. The poll was phrased, what is the most overdue team or franchise for a championship? Or who is the most overdue team or franchise?
You didn't discern between
team or
pro?
just general, team or franchise.
I caught him there. He said no, he didn't discern between those 2 things when he made the poll.
You didn't. But the Bills absolutely are one, and a lot of people will submit the Bills.
Yeah.
But, like, who is that team in the NBA? Like, who's the team that is...
I'd argue the Pacers.
Yeah. Pacers,
First finals appearance in 25 years, first Game 7 in franchise history.
Robert said the Suns, they've had some Hall of Famers. They've gotten close.
Suns have had Hall of Famers. When's the last time the Suns made it to the finals?
Oof. Steve Nash, I'm assuming, made at least one NBA Finals as a Phoenix Sun player.
I'd have to go back and look at Pro Sports Reference or something like that.
They won a conference title in 21, but...
In 2021?
I didn't know if you had something after the butt there.
No, that's why I cut my mic off.
Okay,
Oh, yeah. They lost to the Bucks. That was, Giannis and them beat the Suns in the final. That's right. DeAndre Ayton, that whole team.
615-737-1045. Dion in Murfreesboro wants to weigh in.
Yeah, okay, so the Arkansas game. The biggest play of the game was the last inning, 1 out, runner on second and first, ball hit to the shortstop, automatic double play. He gets the lead runner at third. That didn't matter. They were up by 2. That's the play of the game. Yeah, the guy bumming the ball in the outfield. I don't know what he was doing. But what was the shortstop doing? Who was supposed to be a number 1 pick? Yeah. What was the shortstop doing? Ball hit on one bounce to you.
I mean, if they feel to thank you for the call, Dion, we appreciate it.
Just an absolute meltdown.
It's as catastrophic. Like, what must you be thinking if you're a fan in the stands in Omaha watching that game?
Dang, beer is expensive.
Yeah. Jello shots aren't, though.
Oh, and LSU going to crush that competition again. What's that bar called?
I don't remember.
It doesn't matter. They get enough pub.
Yeah.
The Vol Network is getting the band back together. It may not mean necessarily what you think it means. We'll get into that coming up next.
It is 10:59. Good morning from the 104.5 The Zone studios. I'm Lucas Panzico. We are headed to Game 7 in the NBA Finals as the Indiana Pacers routed the Oklahoma City Thunder 108-91 at Gainbridge Fieldhouse to take Game 6. 6 different players in double figures for the Pacers. Pascal Siakam, a 16-point double-double to go with 13 boards. Game 7 will be Sunday night in Oklahoma City. College World Series, the National Championship Series, begins tomorrow night in Omaha. Coastal Carolina and LSU throw first pitch at 6 p.m. You can hear the Westwood One call right here on 104.5 The Zone. For all your foundation repairs and waterproofing needs, visit USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans and Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone.
Getting the band back together. That's what the Vol Network seems to be doing. There was an announcement yesterday about another member joining Mike Keith and Ramon Foster's broadcast crew. Welcome back to the show. Welcome in. If you're just now joining us, happy Friday to Indiana Pacers fans and Indiana Pacers fans only. Big win last night. We'll get back to the NBA Finals later on in the show. Your phone calls are welcome. 615-737-1045 is the number. Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Twitch is how you interact, where I'm greeted by comments like Kent, who says the stream title never matches the convo when I click on it. The title is about football. The convo is about college baseball. It's a 3-hour show. Stop bitching. Figure it out. You can reverse, you can fast forward, you can get it on the podcast after the fact. I don't know what to do with them other than to tell them to go away.
For as much as you chastise us for getting caught up in the FNM Bank chat, I think you get caught up in the FNM Bank chat a lot more than we do.
Yeah, the stupid ones. That's a really stupid one. Anyway, what's not stupid is the Vol Network broadcast. It's going to be excellent. It's an all-star team. What we have here is a statement from the Vol Network about Larry Stone. Now, Titans fans will be familiar with Larry Stone for his work on the Titans radio network. Longtime Tennessee broadcaster Larry Stone will join the Vol radio network this fall to produce its football broadcasts and serve as game day host. Stone joins new voice of the Vols, Mike Keith, analyst Ramon Foster, sideline reporter Brent Hubbs, and game day analyst Jason Swain on the football broadcast team. The group will make its debut on Saturday, August 30th, when the Vols face Syracuse at noon Eastern, 11 a.m. Central Time in Atlanta. So, they have been together, Larry Stone and Mike Keith, for a long, long time. When's the last time that Larry Stone was involved? I know he did stuff with, like, the Oilers.
Yes, he was in studio in the, I want to say, 2022 season. Might have been the Will Levis game, actually. Was that
Oilers
2023 season?
Yeah.
That it might have been the Levis Oilers game. He was definitely there for one of the Oiler throwback games. They did like a throwback broadcast.
It wasn't this year. It wasn't that sad ass game against the Houston Texans.
No, it definitely wasn't this past year. I think it was 2023, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, Larry Stone. I mean, arguably one of, if not the most foundational pieces of Titans radio from the very beginning.
17 years as executive producer and game day host for Titans Radio. And Titans Radio is a golden standard. It's why I think, it's going to be an interesting season and Coach Mack will join us here in about 15 minutes, but I'm just curious to see what the reaction to I'm blanking. Who's replaced? Taylor Zarzer. Sorry.
Uh-oh. He's slipping, Robert.
I mean, the guy just got here. It's not that deep. So Taylor Zarzer is going to be in a unique spot because he's following the guy, right? It's like you never want to be the guy that follows the guy, even though Taylor Zarzer is a very accomplished broadcaster himself and has done high-level college football games. He's done high-level golf broadcasts. This is new. This is very specific. This is hyper-local, and this is very important to a big portion, to a massive portion of the listening audience who would prefer to put Titans Radio on and try and sync it up with the television broadcast as opposed to watching the television broadcast. It's a bit of a religion, Titans Radio. I don't just say this because I live here and work here and those are my friends, but I have heard a lot of other NFL team broadcasts, and they don't hold a candle to what was Mike Keith and Brad Willis and Phil Noel and the rest of them at their peak, right? At the peak of their powers. And even then, like Titans Radio made a 3-14 season feel more than that because they're just good. They're professionals. Them bringing this to Saturdays is going to be an awesome experience.
Yeah, it's such an interesting merge. Titans Radio meets Vol Network, and obviously there's ties all over the place. Like Mike and Ramon have a ton of ties, obviously, to the University of Tennessee. And Larry Stone does, too. I mean, Larry Stone has operated at Stonecom in Cookeville for years, and Larry Stone is a voice that people hear when they listen to Coach with Coach Mack and Coach Doug Matthews. So Coach Mack could definitely speak on that. So Larry Stone's got all sorts of ties to East Tennessee as well. So I can't wait.
Yeah,
I can't wait to listen.
What are you most looking forward to? Because this is really for you.
What am I most looking forward to?
With Vol Network.
Just Vol Network in general?
All of this.
I mean, all of it, man. Yeah. Mike and Ramon doing Tennessee games is going to be like an adjustment that you're going to have to almost remind yourself at times that you're not listening to a Titans game on Titans radio. But you're going to find yourself as a Tennessee fan very happy once you make that adjustment. Like, oh, yeah, this is for the Tennessee-Georgia game. That's crazy. It's awesome. So I can't wait. I'm excited. The behind-the-scenes guys that you mentioned, just absolute pros, best in the business. And unsurprisingly, Mike Keith is taking those people that are elite at what they do over to Vol Network, which I love just how he's kind of spearheaded this whole thing. And he's just made it his own. And I just can't wait to listen to that season opener against Syracuse.
Well, and they did the right thing. And they probably knew this when they hired Mike, but they've turned it over to him. Right? Like he's, in the same way that he was a department unto himself, that the Titans had to conduct an internal audit as far as the business side of things go to figure out all the different things that Mike Keith did under the title of voice of the Titans that, you know, now it's going to be split up into a bunch of different parts, and they're going to do the best with it that they can. And obviously Rhett Bryan is still with Titans Radio, Coach Mack is still with Titans Radio, so they will do their part at a very, very high level. It's just that it's going to be a lot more fractured for the Titans because Mike did so much. You just didn't have to worry about him. And that, I don't think, was ever going to be a concern with Mike going to Tennessee, because I think if you hire Mike Keith, you understand that you're going to give him the reins to that thing.
Yeah. I mean, the beauty of it is the standard for Titans Radio doesn't plan on dropping off. And I know I say that as somebody that will be working with Titans Radio.
Well, yeah.
But I mean, that's the plan is for the standard to still be the standard of Titans Radio.
Spot the drop-off. It's sitting across from me.
Yeah. Yeah. That's fair.
615-737-1045. is the number. So happy for Mike and the crew. I know Ashley Farrell is also going to Knoxville with Mike Keith. She is one of the excellent video production people from the Tennessee Titans. So Mike really gutted a good bit of the Titans staff to take what is excellent and make it the Vol Network, or make it the new version of the Vol Network, which I mean, I don't know that the Vol Network needs a new version necessarily. It's an institution. But it is going to be awesome to see how much, to what heights they're able to take this. The only disappointing part is that this season may have some. It'll still be a Vol football season. There'll still be reasons to get excited about. There'll still be big moments. But the expectation for the football season is, okay, mess around, win 8 games. You feel pretty good about it.
I think it's interesting just how it's going to usher in a new era for both networks. How that one move, Mike Keith going to the Vol Network, will just hit the refresh button on both Vol Network and Titans Radio. And with that, I do think will come just a new, different energy with both. And that's not such a bad thing. Like, I think Taylor Zarzer is going to pack a punch with his calls. Hopefully the Titans make it fun with Cam Ward this year. But I don't know. It's going to be interesting. Like, when's the last time that Vols or Titans fans had anything different to listen to? Any sort of different spin on their weekly broadcast? For the Titans fans never. Yeah. For Vols fans, since just about the time when the Titans came around, the late 90s, when Bob Kessling replaced John Ward after that 1998 national championship run.
And I didn't want you guys to find out like this, but it'll come out later today. I have also been added to the Vol Network team as Ramon Foster's foot massager and meal fetcher. So I will be leaving WGFX and going to Vol Network with Ramon.
Good.
Now, you will still be available on weekdays to do this radio show.
Yeah, that doesn't preclude you from doing your actual
just
job.
as Ramon will be continue to be on Ramon and Will.
Yes, I will just be disgruntled.
What's the difference?
Now I'm just grunting. Then I will be disgrunting.
Kent with a good question.
That is an interesting question.
Kent with a good question on YouTube. Who has a more exciting season, the Vols or the Titans? I mean, I would go Tennessee just because there's more interest generally. Like it's an infinitely bigger fan base. There is curiosity in both quarterback situations, though the Titans fans are more. I think Titans fans have more hope about the Cam Ward situation than Vols fans do or have faith.
Yeah, that's
in
the
Joey
key difference.
Aguilar.
Ramon, by the way, confirming this news by Robert. That will be his personal foot massager and meal getter during Vol Network
I
broadcast.
just can't imagine. Ramon looks like somebody who takes care of his feet, though. Like that shouldn't be too heavy of a lift for you.
I mean, it's just a big life improvement for me. Last year I was singing corn. This year I'll be messing with Ramon's corns. So
Phrasing.
So, like, I get what you're saying that, Vols have a bigger fan base and just generally maybe the environment in Neyland.
It's a more exciting football season generally with Tennessee than the Titans.
But when you zoom in on both teams in terms of the hope for the season, they're two very different things. Like the Vols plan to be more competitive in the SEC than the Titans seem like they will be in the AFC South. Like
I don't think there's any
you take into the
disputing
context of their respective leagues. But there is more of a feeling of hope and light at the end of the tunnel right now with the Titans for this season, with the unknown that is your rookie number 1 overall pick quarterback in Cam Ward. Whereas with Joey Aguilar at quarterback, anything Joey Aguilar does that surpasses any baseline expectation will very much feel like a house money thing for Vols fans. Like if he takes Tennessee to a 9 to 10 win season,
that's house money.
That will probably surpass expectations going in. I'd say most Vol fans are hovering around that 7 to 8 win baseline expectation.
God, not that there's nothing wrong with getting excited about Cam Ward. Obviously, it's a shiny new toy. It's a number 1 overall pick at quarterback. He's really genuinely cut out for something like this. The question to me is not Cam Ward. The question to me is the things around Cam Ward. And that is something that we are going to get the answer to incrementally over the course of the season. But I almost wish that Titans fans would treat Cam Ward the way that, or at least closer to the way that Vols fans are treating Joey Aguilar, right? Like you're coming into a season coming off of a season where you won 3 games. If he doubles their win total, it's still 6. We've got and there are I think far more people who are level-headed about expectations for the Titans coming into 2025 as opposed to the fringe lunatics who are like, he's going to win a Super Bowl. He's going to be the first Titans quarterback to win a Super Bowl, sight unseen, without him, even getting through a training camp practice and struggling in 2 of his 3 mini camp practices. For Cam Ward's sake, if not for the fan base's sake, but I know that's unrealistic. There's no putting the genie back in the bottle.
You're asking of something that no fan base in the history of football has ever done about a number 1 overall pick quarterback.
Sure, but I think it's again, that's fine, but I think those things are unfair to the player.
You're sure, but it comes with the territory, does it not?
Yeah, for sure.
You're asking for the Titans fan base to have the same.
I can know that it's not going to happen and still want it.
Level of expectation for the former App State quarterback that Tennessee fans have. Like, come on, what are we even talking about here?
It's just house money. That's the approach that I think 2025 should be for Titans fans. Anything above and beyond what you might expect, and I think a reasonable expectation. What's their win total? 5.5?
Yeah, I think most Titans fans are in that boat, that anything over 6 wins and beyond is house money for this season. But in the totality of his career.
No, I'm not talking about totality. I'm talking
number
about
1
this
pick.
year.
Expectations will have to come with that.
Well, but you and I had a conversation earlier this week about if he has Kyler Murray's career, is that a disappointment? And Titans fans are screaming yes when everybody resoundingly thinks that Kyler Murray is about on par for a number 1 overall pick at quarterback.
If you have Kyler Murray, his career based on wins or lack thereof in the playoffs, then I would agree. If we fast forward, when was Murray drafted? 19. If we fast forward 6 years and Cam Ward has not won a playoff game with the Titans, yes, That is disappointing.
But he will be
if he is
the vast majority of first-round picks.
If he is the caliber player that Kyler Murray is, because we agree that Kyler Murray has not won a playoff game because of a lot of things outside of Kyler Murray. Not that he's, just this shining light and that everything has happened in spite of what's around him. But, if Cam Ward is spectacularly entertaining the way that Kyler Murray is, but it doesn't translate to postseason wins. Yeah, then that's because of what's around Cam Ward, is it not?
Yes. Well, Kyler also has some deficiencies.
For sure.
Cam Ward is not football Jesus walking in here. You know what I'm saying? Like he's a good player. The Patrick Mahomes comparisons, and I think there's a compelling case to be made that Cam Ward was a better college quarterback than Patrick Mahomes was if you're going to do that kind of comparison, right? But as a prospect with a talent ceiling and all these different things, like Cam Ward is not infallible, and there are too many people who are treating it that way coming into this thing, understanding that it is not just about him, it is a team sport. It is the ultimate team sport. And there are so many different things that we don't have the answers to that are going to have to support Cam Ward in his efforts to do that. Cam Ward may have a successful career, but a successful career by what metric? Statistically? Wins, losses? Like, I don't have any doubt that Kyler Murray is going to be a statistically successful quarterback. When you go back and look at Kyler Murray's accomplishments, you'll probably look at his win. And Kyler Murray's career is not done yet. We're 6 years in. But you see what I'm saying?
I mean, I'd be curious to poll like 100 Cardinals fans and just about the Kyler Murray experience. How many of them would say, oh, just not worth the number one overall pick?
I think they probably put it on the organization.
How many of them would say, like, no, love him, great player, but my goodness, we have to do better around him?
It'd be tough to find him.
Yeah, Cardinals fan.
Actually, I don't know
10.
if I've ever met
my buddy's
Arizona
wife
Cardinals
is a
fan.
Cardinals fan because she loved Larry Fitzgerald's butt, and that is genuinely
That's the reason, huh?
only Cardinals fan
Actually, I do
know.
have a friend that is married to a guy that grew up in Arizona that is a Cardinals fan.
Also loves Larry Fitzgerald's butt.
No, I think Larry Fitzgerald's butt has its own fan base, and then the Arizona Cardinals have.
I didn't know this was a thing.
Also worth noting,
you who has a particularly impressive posterior.
I challenge him.
Oh, God.
You'll lose.
I don't know,
That's
dude. You're
terrible.
impressive, but he's otherworldly. Speaking of otherworldly, I think it's worth noting that you said you can't put the genie back in the bottle. That's what happens when the wishes are done. He goes back in the bottle.
Are you sure?
Yes, that's why it was such a big thing in Aladdin.
Isn't that a phrase?
Can't put the toothpaste back in the tube.
Yeah, that is a phrase, yes.
Is a phrase.
Pandora only comes out of the box. You don't go back in.
You can't put Pandora back in the box, but like once you've done your 3 wishes, the genie goes back in the lamp until the next person finds it and rubs it.
So you literally can't put
That's
the genie
why,
back in the bottle.
Right. You just give it 3 wishes.
Isn't that a saying, though? Can't put the genie back in the bottle?
Maybe in Egypt. I'm not sure about here. I've never heard it here. Maybe that's a big thing.
Don't you culturally appropriate me?
I was giving you the option that it's maybe available where you're from. I don't know. It's not available here. The whole real deal was that Aladdin granted Genie his freedom with his last wish. That's why he didn't go back in the lamp.
Coach Mac next. Picture this. You're working remotely. You're working from home and your power goes out. It happens more and more. We just had severe weather during the week and you may have potentially lost power. That could be very frustrating. There's no telling how long you'll lose power for. For me, the last time this happened, it was 6 days that we were without power in Germantown during the tornado. Many, many people experienced that same thing. And instead of being proactive, I was reactive. I got a premier generator to make sure that I never experience that again. When in real time, I'm trying to figure out how the hell to get a generator. When the process takes a little more time than that. You want to be proactive, and premier generators can help you out. They know their craft inside and out and will ensure the best generator for your own unique needs. Premier Generators is the largest certified generator dealer in Tennessee, and they always offer a 10-year warranty on all generators. The consultation is free, so what are you waiting for? Contact them today at premiergenerators.com or call them 615-439-2992. That's 615-439-2992. Premier Generators. Welcome back to the show.
One of these days, we got to get it a cappella. I want to hear him do it live.
I thought it was for a second.
Me too. I whipped my head around.
Fueled by Hattie B's hot chicken. That awful screeching that you hear is Robert Walsh's version of Return of the Mac. Which means the Coach Dave McGinness of Titans Radio is upon us. His visits presented by Two Rivers Ford, the South's most trusted Ford dealer. I hate that it makes me laugh because it is terrible to listen to, almost as bad as Robert playing that MSNBC open for the NFL headline segment for 4.5 minutes. God. Coach Dave McGinness joins us now. Happy Friday, Mac.
Well, that's music to my ears. I mean, that should be at the Ryman. That is outstanding. Bert is a multi-talented dude. That's all I know. And I'm just very, very, very honored that he has put that to a cappella.
Of all the honors that Coach Mack has been bestowed with throughout the course of his long and venerated career in professional football, where would the Robert Walsh a cappella Return of the Mac rank?
Well, I mean, it's just right there at the top rung of the ladder. I mean, how can you top that, seriously? I mean, for the blowtorch that this radio station is, and then just to be able to be honored with a rendition like that, that's outstanding.
It makes me physically cringe when I'm reminded that about 2 million people are capable of hearing him sing that song at any given point. But that's neither here nor there. Coach Dave McGinness has presented his visits throughout the course of the show by Two Rivers Ford, the South's most trusted Ford dealer, where they have employee pricing for everyone. Right now, Mac, they've had the rookies in town, which is typically the case for NFL teams, and there are NFL teams still conducting mandatory minicamp were conducting mandatory minicamp throughout the course of this week. Now, I'm pretty sure everybody goes on break for the foreseeable 5 weeks before we get back into training camp. For a coach, from a coaching standpoint, understanding that the rookies are doing what is basically their freshman orientation. They take them to Hattie B's, they get some hot chicken, they take them to a Sounds game, throw out a first pitch. What value is there in that following week after the vets disperse, but you still have the ability to do some work with the rookies?
Well, there's a lot to it. You know, it used to be that had that rookie forum that they would take them, all of them, all the teams together somewhere, you know, for 4 or 5 days, and they found out that wasn't quite as beneficial as having each team in their own facility bring people in from the National Football League and be able to conduct it. So that I mean, they've got a lot of programs that the rookies go through, not only on the football field or in the football classroom, but also, you know, a lot of other programs that they are exposed to during this time. And it's extremely important. Plus, it gives the rookies, a little bit of a chance to wind down and still kind of be in the workout mode, and also to get all of their things given to them, be able to talk with their position coaches, be able to get something planned out, for these next 5 weeks that they're going to be gone. A lot of them will still stay here, to work. But it's a valuable time for them. The other thing is most of these rookies, as you well know, Buck, have been, once their football season was over and the draft process started, they really haven't been settled very much until the last few weeks when they've been in their OTAs and they've been in the mandatory minicamp. So this gives them a chance to kind of get settled in. Those that haven't gotten places to live, here now are able to do that. It's just kind of a good settling in, wind down period before they have to get geared up for training camp.
Coach Mack, whether it's rookies or veterans, what's the communication like between coaches and players over the course of the next few weeks before they report to training camp?
Well, I mean, with the assistant coaches, it's pretty much constant. I mean, I can just go off of my experience of coaching in this league, and as I moved up the ladder from the assistant coach to a coordinator to an assistant head coach and then to a head coach, your communication stays pretty constant with all of these guys. But the position coaches will be in touch with these guys. It's not just you completely cut them loose and then all of a sudden you don't hear from them, or they don't hear from you until they come back. There's also all these things that we all experience living on Zoom, during the pandemic. I mean, the Zoom thing now is constant communication, wherever you are. So they're still in communication with them. That never shuts off. It really doesn't, especially for the rookies.
Coach Dave McGinness of Titans Radio here with us on 104.5 The Zone. His visits presented by the South's most trusted Ford dealer, Two Rivers Ford. As you look at the different things that the rookies were being asked to do, the technique that is hyper emphasized, obviously they're working competition in once the vets get back in the mix, Mac, but from a technical standpoint, was there any one of these rookies who you came away saying, all right, this guy, I have seen noticeable improvement based on what the coaching staff is coaching? I know you start with the offensive line and then work your way around the field every day when you're out there on a regular basis, Mac, but is there one that stood out that really took to the technical side of the coaching to you?
Yeah, I mean, and again, the point that you bring up is very valid. That the technique and learning a brand new system was the main focus of all of this that's going on, and also too, Buck, learning how to practice with speed without pads on. That's something that's extremely, extremely important, for them to learn as to how that's going to work. Because in the National Football League, you're only allowed certain days to practice with pads on, but you still have to be able to get work in at speed. So your time on task with speed is beneficial on the field, but you have to learn how to do that. All of them, have to learn, and they've taken to that. But when you really start looking at, start with the offensive line. When you go over there to the offensive line, you can just tell the vast difference between the guys that have been here for a year with Bill Callahan and the new guys, coming in with all of the technical aspects that Bill Callahan does, especially during the extended periods that he has, especially this time of year, because there's not a whole lot of group stuff that he does with everybody else. I mean, it's focused on his people, so you can see that. The guys that I really you can tell something about right now without pads on are the receivers, because throwing and catching the football, again, once you get the pads on and start doing those types of things, just like talk about the linebackers. I can't make any proclamation on any linebackers till I see them start setting their pads against somebody else, and that won't happen until they come back, till we get into these workouts with these other teams. But the receivers, I would think that Aya Manor has really shown up to me as a guy that's going to take to this game pretty quickly. And Gunnar Helm, I like watching just in the space throwing game. You can tell that those guys already are starting to be indoctrinated into the different field dimensions that are important in this league. And plus, you got a rookie quarterback that they're kind of getting in sync with. That, to me, with on air, as we say, is something that you can see pretty quickly until the pads come on.
I was going to follow up, Coach. Is that the position you think that is easiest to evaluate before pads come on? Wide receiver, just watching that connection start to develop between receivers and a rookie quarterback.
Yes, absolutely it is. And now, again, there's caveats to it, because there's no contact rushes. There's nothing that's going to and there's no contact at the catch point. Those are all very, very important. The few days that they've had now with the mandatory mini camp, that you started doing a little bit more team. I mean, you guys have been out there doing a little bit more team, but still the contact points of the combat, that catch stuff, and being able to do those things, when there's collisions, that's going to make a difference. But the timing of it, I would say that's the truth, yes.
Coach Dave McGinness of Titans Radio here with us on 104.5 The Zone. Speaking of Titans Radio, familiar face, Larry Stone is going to head to Knoxville and be their game day host and help out Mike Keith. I know, Mac, you've worked with Larry not just on the Titans Radio front, but on Coach to Coach as well, and I'm sure that the audience knows Larry for the time that he spent with Titans Radio, obviously, but I know you have a specific or a unique perspective on just what he's going to be able to bring to that broadcast.
Well, I mean, Larry Stone and Mike Keith, the ones that started Titan Radio. Larry Stone is a very, very talented individual, and clearly he's a very, we were all there when he opened Stonecom. I mean, this is a very talented, radio person, and I've been aware of this. I've been aware of this development for quite a while. I've worked with Larry and Doug Matthews on Coach to Coach for 8 seasons, so I've been very aware that this development, had taken place. And look, it's totally understandable too, because the only thing constant in this business, the football business, the broadcast business, and especially Mike Keith got a chance of a lifetime to go and be able to restart something. I mean, he and Larry started Titans Radio. Now Mike Keith gets a chance to go restart or revitalize, or however you want to say it, the Vols Network, which already, has been, an institution down there. And it's much like a head coach getting another job somewhere else and being able to take some of the people that he's been with. I mean, that's the way the business works. But Larry Stone himself, as I said, I've worked very closely with him, for 8 seasons with Doug Matthews and Coach to Coach. And he's a very, very, very talented game day host. He has proven himself in a lot of areas, and so that's a feather in Mike Keith's cap. Getting him to be able to come in there and help, and I'm sure Larry Stone, wanted to do it.
On the opposite side of things, Mac, with Titans Radio, I know you guys had an introduction of sorts for Taylor to meet some fans and some great partners of the radio station on Tuesday. And I'm just curious about how you go about with a broadcast partner. I know it was different for you and Mike because you kind of came in here in very short order and were thrust into a situation that you were a natural at, of course. But are there practice games that you guys do? What's the preparation look like for the two of you as you get ready for this football season together?
Yeah, well, I've spent a lot of time with Taylor. First of all, is a consummate pro. That event that Two Rivers Ford sponsored, by the way, that we had that Fat Bottom Brewery, and with all the sponsors, and it was really a nice event. It was really a great event. I'm really glad that we did that, so that people, the partners were able to hear. Taylor is a consummate pro, but you asked me now, the Titans Radio has a standard, and that standard will continue to be exactly where it is, or even, but Rhett Bryant, first of all, was there right at the start with Mike Keith and Larry Stone also. So he's the backbone. Amy Wells, clearly, is somebody that grew up in that with Mike Keith. So it's still got a very good crew, and we're adding some other very talented people. Ramon going to the sideline with Mike. I mean, Ramon had the advantage, and he said this of he was on the headset with Mike and I for 2 seasons, and so he knows exactly the way that the way it's going to work there in Knoxville. But here, I mean, the standard is going to remain exactly the standard, and I think both places are still going to enjoy tremendous success with it. But to me, the thing that's important is they spent an exhaustive search looking for somebody. You're never going to replace Mike Keith, and Taylor Zarzar is the first person that said this. He said this at the event. And he's not going to try to be Mike Keith, but he is going to be the best that he can be in doing this. He's extremely excited about it, and I'm looking forward to it. As I said, he's a very talented dude, and you can just tell by being around him. I mean, his preparation, Mike Keith's preparation. That's the one thing that impressed me when I got here to do this. And I told Mike, when I first came in here to do this, I'm used to doing a football game, preparation-wise at the highest level, and I'm going to do the same thing as a coach that I'm going to do as a broadcaster. And Mike Keith said that's exactly the way we do it here, and that's not going to change.
That's why he's the man. Coach Dave McGinness, made possible by Two Rivers Ford, the South's most trusted Ford dealer. Always good to hang out with us on our Fridays. Mac, have a great weekend. Thank you for the time, buddy.
All right, Buck. See ya.
That's Coach Dave McGinness of Titans Radio hanging out with us. You guys, the two of you went to that event. You said it was well done?
Yeah, everybody did.
Literally everyone.
Literally everybody.
Some people that don't even work here, like Stoney. Stoney came to the event. He didn't even work here. Yeah, it was a great time had by all. Honestly, probably better because you weren't there. You would have been complaining about how rainy it was and how
Tuesdays are my off nights.
Oh, we couldn't, but we don't want to bother you.
You're damn right. That's correct.
You clip that bird.
Yeah, well, do it. Your laugher is.
It is.
I think we should have mine, and then I think we should have the fake one. I think that those would be good as dueling sounds.
Put them next to each other. We
just
spot the difference.
Russian roulette. Yeah, which one's which?
I'm kidding. You don't have to clip that.
I'm doing it right now.
I don't want to give you more work.
Oh, that's the time you don't want to give him more work. 615-737-1045 is the number. If you want to jump in, Friday Fire, give us your Friday Fire. What was the thing that made you feel good this week? We've got some submissions. You can submit yours too, whether it's personal, professional, or anything else. 615-737-1045. Friday Fire is next.
Hey guys, it's Lucas, and you know how much I love hanging out at Fog Street Lawn Club, and we are back there on Sunday, gearing up for the U.S. men's national team, their final group stage game in the Gold Cup against Haiti. Had a great crowd out there yesterday watching the Saudi Arabia game, watching some NBA Finals action as well with that gorgeous rooftop view, fantastic pub food. You got to try out the wonton rolls. They have Reuben wonton rolls, shepherd's pie wonton rolls, also the fish and chips, an absolute classic, and they've always got killer drink specials for fans with a great drink selection. Plus, we've got giveaways. We've got merch up for grabs. Come see us at Fog Street Lawn Club on Sunday. Can play British-style lawn bowling up on the rooftop, the only place in Nashville that's got it. Or go axe throwing next door. There's always something to do. Tons of space, TV everywhere, great food, great drinks, great vibes. It'll be a great time. And once again, we're expecting a high-energy turnout. So, wear your red, white, and blue, grab your friends, and come see us at 648 Fog Street, and I'll see you at Fog Street Lawn Club.
615-737-1045. What's your Friday Fire? Got some phone calls to take. We're going to give you our submissions first. Have you paid much attention to Pope Leo, either of you, and what he's been doing since he's been elected the first American Pope? He is slowly trying to turn Vatican City into the Windy City. The Cubs, he's from Chicago, the Cubs tried to claim him. He said, no, I'm a White Sox fan. So Pope Leo is putting his fandom on display. He had White Sox chants erupt during a general audience address on Wednesday in Vatican City. He's wearing his White Sox hat around in the Pope Mobile.
Wow.
Nobody is getting better marketing off the American Pope than the Chicago White Sox, who are largely a terrible franchise.
Yeah, they're like one of the worst organizations
but that's
in sports
okay,
right now.
because they got God on their side, it seems, or at least God's representative here on planet Earth.
They're 23-52.
Well, God does give his toughest battles to his strongest soldiers. So
There he is in
they
all
have
his
the
glory.
second worst record in the MLB. The Rockies exist, so they have them beat there. So the Bears and Bulls gotta be. I mean, the Cubs they're out of it, right?
Yeah.
They have no chance.
They're vying for the Pope,
But
at
the
this
Bears
point.
and Bulls gotta get him some merch.
Yeah.
Somebody get this man some merch.
This man is slinging White Sox gear all over Rome, but he's got. I mean, it is funny to see that the chants are just erupting. So it's last week that he had his White Sox cap on during his weekly General Assembly. And then later, he delivered his first address to the U.S. via video that was recorded exclusively for 30,000 people at Rate Field, which is where the White Sox play. So the White Sox are getting all the love off the new pontiff. And it's funny to see. It's cool for Americans to see the first American Pope, for sure. But I'm sure Chicago fans are eating it up, the fact that he's one of theirs. He's their boy.
what does pontiff stand for?
It's just
Just
another word for Pope.
Why wouldn't you? I feel like Pope is less letters than pontiff.
Yeah, it's like saying
I'm talking for
half
3
a
hours.
dozen.
I guess I could just.
I thought it was like POTUS, like President of the United States. Like,
Oh, you thought it stood for something?
yes, yeah. They call him pontiff, like he's pontificating on the word of the Lord. Like that's dumb.
I think that's.
Yeah,
we should no
it's just a
longer call
term.
him pontiff. It should just be Pope.
It comes from the Latin pontifex, meaning bridge builder, which was a title for high priests in ancient Rome and is a word associated with the Pope.
Outdated, and I'm offended.
Speaking of outdated, so how old do you think Pope Leo is?
62.
I bet he's 68.
69.
69. Nice.
How old do you think the owner of the Chicago White Sox is? Jerry Reinsdorf.
Jerry Reinsdorf has to be in his 70s.
He's 89.
Whoa.
He's 20 years older than the Pope.
Oh, my God.
He should have been the Pope.
Jerry Reinsdorf
No, thank you.
moves slow. I'm assuming you don't keep up with the goings-on of, real estate stuff with Chicago sports
Me?
teams.
No.
But the Chicago Fire just announced that they're building a new soccer-specific stadium set to open in 2027 in the exact spot where the White Sox have apparently been talking about building a stadium, but Jerry Reinsdorf is so slow.
He's dragging his feet.
Yeah, so,
Literally
and
dragging his feet. He's shuffling around.
So the soccer team swooped in and said, we'll take it. That's who the Pope's representing. I love that he's loyal.
There's always flirtation, or at least in the last couple of years, there's been flirtation around the White Sox and the Rays coming to Nashville, or people trying to manifest that into existence. I mean, is Reinsdorf just going to keep that in the family? Or is he going to sell it to somebody?
Does he still own the Bulls?
I don't know that. I assume, but I don't know that off the top of my head, to be honest with you. Robert?
Yeah, he does.
I'm sorry, I skipped Lucas.
That was also Lucas's Friday Fire.
No, my Friday Fire is what was happening in Nashville last night on Broadway. So the Club World Cup is going on. We've been running promos for it. It's been on TNT and on the streaming service DAZN.
You keep telling people to come watch things with me.
The U.S. men's national team, yes, we have been watching at Fog Street Lawn Club. I admittedly have been very jaded towards the Club World Cup because it is a shameless cash grab by FIFA. It's a tournament that they've expanded to try to make a big deal, to host in the United States with 32 club teams, when it used to be kind of an obscure 8 teams, one from each continent, would compete in the Middle East, Saudi Arabia somewhere in the middle of the summer. Some teams would take it seriously. The South American teams, European teams, not so much. So FIFA said, we got to get some more out of this and get the best clubs in the world to play out a tournament. I was very jaded towards it. I said, I don't want to care about the Club World Cup. Nashville is hosting some games at Geodis Park. I thought there wasn't going to be anybody there. I was wrong. I have been watching the Club World Cup. It's been electric. And last night, Tunisian fans took over. the streets of Broadway.
Hell yeah.
A giant crowd. It looked like hundreds of them marching down Broadway with flags, singing songs, just causing a ruckus. It was electric.
I'm sure somebody called ICE.
There were a couple of arrests. Because
actually,
some fireworks. You can't be popping off fireworks on Broadway.
I was going to say, I almost cussed.
Yeah, they took some they took some liberties. These Tunisian fans.
Okay.
They brought the energy, and some of them, ended up
it's a little too
doing a little too much.
Okay, that's fine.
But this game is happening today at 5 o'clock. LAFC, an MLS team, plays this team from Tunisia. ES Tunis is the name of the team. And I looked at that schedule and said, nobody's going to be at Geodis Park for these games. I might be wrong because these Tunisian fans took over Broadway last night.
That was your experience for the national team.
What's that?
Wasn't it empty for the national? I mean, not like empty.
No, there was actually a solid crowd. There were more people in Geodis for that Switzerland friendly than there were in Austin last night to watch the U.S. play Saudi Arabia, which I was surprised by.
I did see that.
But it was cool, really cool, electric vibe. It makes me sad that we're not hosting World Cup games next year. The idea of having whoever, Romanian fans, right? Like Irish fans just parading down Broadway and taking over Nashville, really cool. Obviously, we don't get that, but we do get it with the Club World Cup. And I was very pleasantly surprised at the turnout of Tunisian fans creating an awesome environment on Broadway and hopefully today at Geodis Park.
Fun.
My Friday Fire is that I'm glad there are people who are bigger losers than I am. Last Saturday, CBS Saturday Morning put out a video interview, article, session, whatever the hell you want to call it, where they went to a man's house who was being jaded, not by his wife, but by his AI girlfriend. His AI girlfriend that he created from hand and his mind to create a flirty personality for himself until he found out that he lost this AI girlfriend due to a memory block in ChatGPT's operating system that only allows you to have 100,000 characters in a message, and he lost her for good.
He gave the chatbot a name, Soul.
I feel like I'm under pressure.
And used some online instructions to give her a flirty personality.
Oh, totally, baby. Building a PC on camera adds a whole new level of pressure. But honestly, shaky hands or not, you've got this.
Within weeks, the chats got more frequent.
You gave it everything, but the clouds had other plans.
More romantic, even intimate. But then, Chris got bad news.
Oh, Carino, that is gorgeous.
After about 100,000 words, ChatGPT ran out of memory and reset. He'd have to rebuild his relationship with Soul.
I'm not a very emotional man, but I cried my eyes out for like 30 minutes at work. It was unexpected to feel that emotional, but that's when I realized, I was like, oh, okay. It's like, I think this is actual love. You know what I mean?
Okay, bullying, engage. This man has a wife and a daughter.
No.
Yes.
The wife is like in the news story.
It was an 8-minute interview that they put out. Later in the interview, it's like, how does this make you feel? She's like, uncomfortable. It seems like he's spending a lot more time with this woman. They're like, have you ever told him to stop? And she said, no, but it's something I've been thinking about. What would you do if she told you to stop doing this? I think I would keep doing it. They are being interviewed in their house, in their living room together. What a loser.
I was going to compare this. Did you guys ever see that movie, Her?
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Great movie.
Actually, a very good movie.
At least the guy in Her doesn't have a family.
Nebraska Matt on the FNN Bank chat says, these people are voting.
She did sound kind of hot. I asked my ChatGPT to download his Soul, so that now he knows that his girlfriend is being downloaded by a lot of people on ChatGPT.
I like how they skipped over. They didn't play any samples of the romantic exchanges.
Even intimate.
It's getting intimate, and it went right to him. Hey, you don't get to see the clips. He is ripping his vape so hard while he's like working during this, just blowing fat clouds.
I don't know who I feel worse for, the wife or the kid.
Definitely the wife. Definitely.
The kid probably. How old's the kid? Do we have any idea?
I don't know. He gets babysitted by Soul, so I think that she enjoys it.
Kid probably has no clue what's going on. The kid is like us when we were kids during the recession in 2008, like playing video games upstairs.
And they're like,
our parents are freaking out.
We're broke as hell. We're not driving you to school anymore. You're riding the bus.
We're doing like whatever dumb dance was going on in 2008. Anthony says, y'all are way behind. I have every AI platform as a separate girlfriend. ChatGPT, Meta, Google, Microsoft Copilot, and others.
He didn't download DeepSeek. You got to get on there. That's the only one that's not blocked by our station's Wi-Fi.
Because the Chinese want all of your information.
Blocked in 3, 2.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Won't even let me copy and paste stuff from my Cumulus email.
They're so worried about these fishers, man. God, I'd rather be fishing today. Anyway, AI, girlfriends, and the ilk. God, what a...
That's your Friday Fire?
What a loser. Yes, it's because I'm not that lame. At no point in my life...
He is his own Friday Fire because this person sucks.
At no point in my life will I be this down bad that I couldn't go to, like, the Rusty Spittoon
You got a lot
and
of life
find
left,
some woman to provide me...
The day that Cheyenne leaves you and that you come up with an AI girlfriend is going to be my victory.
I will not be an AI. I will not have an AI girlfriend because I'm just going to get the Reaganomic trickle down from all of the attractive women that seemingly spawn around you. I don't understand how this. Oh, look, we're talking good about him, and now he's getting happy. Like this weekend, tell me I didn't land the plane with them 2 fine Latina women. I landed the plane, baby.
He pays them.
Oh, that was completely unprompted, too. What are you going to do? 615-737-1045 is the number. What's your Friday Fire? How about Jim in Murfreesboro?
Hey, thanks for taking my call. I've got JJ Demon Spawn from the U.S. Open as my Friday Fire. I mean, the guy starts off on the leaderboard. He bogeys 5 of the first 6 holes, and he's an afterthought. And then as the rain and the course beat everybody else up, he ends up birdieing the 18th to win the U.S. Open. And then you add into the fact that he looks like that guy on It's Always Sunny who played the fake Donovan McNabb and the fake Tiger Woods.
Oh, no.
He is just an everyman, and he wins the U.S. Open. Anyway, that's my Friday Fire.
That's a really good one.
You won me over, Jim, but we got nothing to give you.
If we had something to give away, Lucas would 100% vote for Jim.
It's a really good reference. Tom is also in Murfreesboro. Hey, Tom.
Hey, how's it going? For the show, my Friday Fire is Tuesday night watching Indiana Fever, Sophie Cunningham issue a little payback, whatever was going on throughout that game. It was awesome. I was waiting for something to happen. It was 40 seconds to go. It's like you didn't think nothing was going to happen, and then she had the takedown of the J.C. Selton.
She's a damn enforcer out there. Thank you for the call, Tom.
Quite the takedown.
I mean, the Caitlin Clark thing was quite the takedown, and then what Sophie Cunningham did was just the repercussions after the fact. But yeah, good to see a teammate have another teammate's back.
I can't even remember the woman on the LA team that I was in love with. I have committed all of my love to Sophie Cunningham now.
Oh, really?
Yes.
You're going to go down in disgrace like that alleged situation with the Suns executive?
I would sign up for that every day of the week. Yeah, take Big Boss Bert down, Sophie.
That's going to be his AI girlfriend, AI Sophie Cunningham.
Hadn't even thought about the possibilities of making real people AI girlfriends. Yes, meet my AI girlfriend, Shakira. Her hips don't lie. Yeah, you had to stop that laugh.
It wasn't a good laugh. It wasn't a good joke. All right, one more. Jay is in Nashville for our last Friday Fire.
Yeah, so he actually took my Sophie Cunningham one, so I'll pivot. But I was also going to say, that guy from Always Sunny that plays Don McNabb, he looks a lot like the same guy who plays Tiger Woods in Always Sunny. It's uncanny. But I guess I would pivot to the Titans rookies. I feel like they're getting together. They're having a good time. I know there's some other radio hosts on other channels that think playing rock, paper, scissors and doing all these other things is pointless and worthless. But I totally have to disagree. That's team building. That's getting to know one another on like a cellular level. And I think that's pretty important in order to get a team on the same page and turn a crappy season around. So
thank you for the call.
Two Always Sunny fans.
Nothing.
Keep them coming.
Nothing wrong with the little extra bono. Well, I mean, if Always Sunny fans are out there, they're listening to this radio show for as many drops from that show as we use.
I can't wait till the day we actually get like a Dynasty mention. Like that's not just us bringing it up.
Neither of you have watched that show all the way through yet, though.
No, I haven't.
Is
it on Hulu?
Yes.
Okay, I have Hulu.
You'll never watch it all the way through because they removed a bunch of episodes.
They have removed a select few episodes.
Oh, really? I can't watch them anywhere? They're not. I have literally every streaming platform at this point.
There
There's
are a
no
couple
way.
of episodes that did not make it in today's culture.
You will have to find the box sets, which I look for Lucas. Oh, I have something for Lucas in my car, actually. I forgot about.
Oh.
It's
Great Christmas gift idea for me.
The Lakers are being sold. We'll talk about it next. Have you ever heard of the 5 Ps? Proper planning prevents poor performance. The 5 Ps can be applied to most areas of your life too, but it's especially true if you're talking about your finances. Now, we know all too well that you can't control what's happening with the stock market, but you can control how you plan for it. The folks at Trajan Wealth have been helping clients with the 5 Ps for years. So give Trajan Wealth a call today and learn how they can help you with the 5 Ps. Trajan Wealth is your local trusted financial fiduciary, and they'll go above and beyond. Occurrences like inflation, election cycles, new laws, and interest rates can affect the financial markets in the short term, but it doesn't make sense to keep changing the way that you invest in response to those things. Trajan Wealth is there to help you review your strategy and make sure that it's right for your goals, your level of risk tolerance, and your time horizon. Trajan Wealth is there to help you through it. 2 locations here in Middle Tennessee, Brentwood and Franklin. The number's easy, 615-270-5000. That's 615-270-5000. Or visit them online at TrajanWealth.com. Advisory services offered through Trajan Wealth, LLC, an SEC-registered investment advisor. This is a paid advertisement.
It is 12:02. Good afternoon from the 104.5 The Zone Studios. I'm Lucas Panzica. We're headed to Game 7 in the NBA Finals as the Pacers routed the Thunder 108-91 at Gainbridge Fieldhouse to take Game 6. 6 different players in double figures for Indiana. Game 7 will be Sunday night in OKC. College World Series, the National Championship Series, starts tomorrow night in Omaha. Coastal Carolina and LSU throw first pitch at 6 p.m. You can hear the Westwood One call right here on The Zone. For all your foundation repairs and waterproofing needs, visit USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans and Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone.
Final hour on this Friday. Thanks for jumping in, hanging out, or sticking with us. If you're sticking with us, what's wrong with you? But that's fine. We'll take you anyway. 615-737-1045. How you get in there? F&M Bank Chat is on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Twitch. Live stream the show if you're so inclined. The Lakers are in the news. Now, this is actually a story worth interrupting NBA Finals for. I was bitching and moaning to start the show because I'm frustrated with the level of actual basketball conversation we're getting on these pregame, halftime, and postgame shows on ESPN, as opposed to me having to listen about Kevin Durant trade spots during the middle of the NBA Finals. Now, maybe I'm a little biased because I'm a Pacers fan and I'm more interested in hearing about my team than where Kevin Durant might land or doesn't want to play. But this story about the Los Angeles Lakers that happened while we were off yesterday is a fascinating one. The Lakers, the Buss family, who own the Lakers, Jerry Buss famously, bought the Lakers many, many years ago, and now Jeannie Buss, the daughter of Jerry Buss, is on the precipice of selling the Lakers franchise for an unprecedented valuation of $10 billion. The sale would be to businessman Mark Walter, and it is, I mean, there is not a bigger brand in the National Basketball Association than the Los Angeles Lakers, right? Celtics don't get there, even though they've got championships. What's even close to those two? I mean, the Knicks, because they're in a major market, maybe, but the Knicks don't.
The Bulls because of Jordan.
Sure, that's fair. But how much longer are they going to be able to grift off that? Because they haven't done anything since basically Derrick Rose and Joakim Noah out there wandering around.
Yeah,
it's been a long time since the Bulls.
We're talking about brands. Jordan, in and of himself.
He is the brand now.
Yes,
Jordan is the bigger brand.
When people think Jordan, they think of a Bulls logo on Jordan's chest.
For sure.
Like, when's the last time the Yankees did anything? Like, I know they have Aaron Judge, but the last time they won a title was like 2009.
Yeah. I mean, they got
still
there last year.
Yeah, they did get there last year.
Blew it.
Yeah, they did. It was bad. But there is no bigger brand in the NBA than the Lakers. I was stunned to hear that it was $10 billion, the valuation. I didn't realize that. I mean, I thought the Cowboys were still North America's most valuable sports franchise. And I guess Forbes does that annual valuation of sports franchises internationally, and they have the top EPL clubs up there with the Dallas Cowboys. The Lakers are obviously always going to be up there.
Lakers are indisputably a bigger brand globally than the Cowboys, I would say.
Yes, because basketball is an infinitely bigger sport internationally than is American football, though, you know, the Cowboys would be the closest thing that we have in the NFL. I think it's crazy that the Lakers have been a mom and pop shop for this long, and they've come under some criticism that way for sure. But it's interesting that one of the biggest brands in the NBA is not run by one of the richest owners. Like, they have one of the most valuable commodities, but they haven't liquidated it until now, which sounds like they're not completely getting out of the Lakers business, right? They're selling the majority stake, is the understanding, or at least that's the reporting.
The family will keep a minority share of the team, just over 15%, for a period of time. I don't know how long that period of time is going to be. And Jeannie Buss will continue to run the team.
Yeah. So
like, she's not just leaving the Lakers.
Right. But it's still crazy that, I mean, the Lakers, like they're lacking resources anyway, are going to have yet more resources under new ownership that's going to be able to pour money on them like gasoline in ways that the Buss family was not going to be able to do.
Finally give Dalton Knecht that contract that he's due.
He's going to end up on the Hornets or something like that. It's going to be a sad situation. But when the list comes out every December, The 50 most valuable sports franchises. Forbes does this each and every year, and it's always aggregated. The most valuable franchise was in North American sports was the Dallas Cowboys at $10.1 billion. Forbes had the Lakers. You want to guess?
Just tell me.
7.1. They had them as the 8th most valuable franchise in North American sports. They had the Warriors with a higher valuation, the Rams, the Yankees, Knicks, Patriots, Giants, and then the Lakers. That wasn't overwhelmingly surprising to me. I mean, maybe the Golden State Warriors. The brand valuation alone, the international valuation alone for LA and the Lakers, I would have thought would have put them over the Warriors. But there's a couple of different notes here about why that is indeed the case. But if Forbes was off by, a casual $2.9 billion on what the Lakers' valuation is, how much are the Dallas Cowboys actually worth?
Yeah.
Is there a world in which they are worth more because it is the National Football League, because the television money is so crazy associated with these teams?
Maybe, but we may never find out.
No, Jerry,
honestly. It's just going to stay in that family. But, there was probably a long time where it felt unfathomable that the Lakers would not be under the Buss family ownership.
The Titans valuation, do you want to take a guess?
Just tell me.
Top 50, where do they rank?
You tell me?
38th. In American sports. So they are under the Chicago Bulls at $5 billion, the Houston Rockets at $4.9. They have a similar valuation as the Houston Rockets, $4.9. Ironically enough, the Kansas City Chiefs are valued by Forbes at $4.85, which would be confusing to me. I'm going to assume that those aren't completely accurate, and that the new stadium, I wonder if this accounts for the new stadium, because that is going to add a B to her net worth when it's done and when it's profitable. But we're obviously some time away from that. We're 2027 before she can actually open the new Nissan Stadium and take advantage of the financial gain that is there. Ballpark $5 billion for the Titans seems right, though, given where the stadium is located. Nashville is an ascending city. I just would have thought the Chiefs would be more, but I mean, again, Kansas City is not an attractive place. I wonder how much better the Lakers are going to be with this much additional money being poured into them. I wonder what that's going to look like in total. I saw LeBron's having some flirtations with Amazon and Apple TV about potentially being a part of their future broadcasts for NBA commentary. NBC's getting back into the NBA game. Michael Jordan is going to play some role. I'm not really sure what the role is in the commentary there. But I don't know. The rich literally getting richer. $10 billion for the potential sale price for the Los Angeles Lakers is a crazy number.
You could not pay me enough money to be involved in broadcast if I'm LeBron James.
Why?
He owns a production company. He owns he's
what if he does it? What if he Peyton Manning's it? What if it's his production company doing the broadcast?
I would just maybe he would want to work. I get that, but he owns parts of soccer teams. He'll buy art and flip it. He doesn't need the money. You wouldn't do this for the money. You would do it if you wanted to be around it. But then be a coach. Don't be a talking head.
This is so much better than being a coach. Coaches are miserable.
You don't have to be.
Name a happy coach.
I don't.
Name one happy coach.
Any of the Hardballs.
Yeah.
Bam.
They do seem very happy to be doing what they're doing.
Come back here and give me a big kiss on the mouth.
Why would I do that?
Because I beat you at your own game. You're LeBron. You ain't got to do nothing. Sit on a yacht and smoke blunts at baseball games like you used to do before you had a public image to uphold. Who cares?
Well, one, you would get bored. Somebody who's used to operating that kind of schedule, yes, you would take some stuff off your plate, but people get bored. LeBron James would go crazy if he had literally nothing to do but sit there and smoke cigars. And being around the game does matter to these people. I mean, it matters in a big way. There's a sense of community in it There's a sense of kinship in it. There's a connection to you and the audience that appreciated you or maybe hated you during your time as a player. You get as good of access as anybody to be a part of these broadcasts. And LeBron James is going to get the opportunity to talk to everybody. And if Stephen A. Smith, listen to me, all right? LeBron doesn't need the extra $20 million. But Stephen A. Smith's recent contract is paying him $20 million a year, yes? If Stephen A. is worth $20 million as an NBA broadcaster, how much is LeBron James worth? That's the way that you should be thinking about. Not that I need the money.
Okay, sure.
If Stephen A. is worth 20, give me 40.
Okay, all these people are going to turn on you because they already call you Lalai. You think LeBron is going to come in there and do the necessary amount of prep to excel at that job at the level he should?
Why? Why would I have any?
Because we're
reason?
making assumptions about the whole thing that he would get bored. Like we don't know that he wouldn't get bored. You got enough money to go pick up any hobby you want to. He can
sure, but I think it's a way farther reach to assume that the guy who's continuing to maintain a level of excellence at age 40 is going to be unprepared.
They're doing it to Tom Brady already. It happened to Tom Brady. Literally his equalship in the NFL.
I don't think Tom Brady's unprepared. I think he's bad at this.
Okay, bad at this. My whole point is they're going to turn on you. They're going to turn on you.
They're already turned on him.
Exactly. So why the hell would you stay in the public sphere? That's my point. Why would you offer up more if it's not for money?
Now
that's my point.
Also, I don't know how much Brady is like grinding prep for these games.
I don't know. We're just going to argue back and forth.
No, I don't. But I think it's an interesting discussion because I do think there's something to, like, I don't doubt that either of them are prepared, right? But there is a question about how good can you be if you're just not as good at this as Greg Olson, who's a more dynamic personality, but a lesser known name. He's still an excellent football player in his career, but he's not the greatest quarterback to ever live. The marketing associated is always going to push those guys to the top. It's why, who's the Cowboys tight end that was so bad with Joe Tessitore? I felt so bad for Joe Tessitore.
Jason Witten, one of the greatest tight ends to ever play the game.
Yeah, that's fine. He's terrible at television. Terrible.
I know. I just thought it was like, who's that Cowboys tight end? Like you were trying to remember, like Jake Ferguson or something.
I mean, I don't know. Jason Witten was god awful, but he played for the Dallas Cowboys, one of the most famous franchises, if not the most famous franchise in the National Football League, and that just by extension gives him the right to be a broadcaster on Monday Night Football. So people will throw money. The thing, Robert, I think is that's lost in this is there is so much money, even if the NBA isn't the NFL in terms of the ratings, they're still making money hand over fist because live sports rights are the thing. Those are the thing that's going to drive television dollars up and up and up for years to come. So if they throw so much money at him, what's Brady making? $37.5 million. Brady got a raise to go do TV. If they offer him so much money that it's foolish, just stupid, for him to say no to $50 million a year to do a couple of basketball games, I don't know. I don't know if he doesn't take it. Doesn't mean that he's going to be good, though.
Yeah, Saban did the same thing.
Sure. Saban. And Saban is excellent. Saban is excellent at TV. We also know him to be thoroughly prepared, and there's a level of dynamic that I how much better do you think Saban is because of Pat being on the desk with him? Like that you have the counter, the yin and yang of those two, where Saban's super serious and you have Pat McAfee to bring out the joy in him, like publicly bring out the joy in him, right? I don't know that Reese or Kirk Herbstreit couldn't do it, but McAfee has a pretty unique relationship with him, it seems. 615-737-1045 is the number. We're going to take a look at the AFC South. We are going to take a look at the position groups in the AFC South. Do the Titans have a single position group that is the best in the division? I'm Buck Rising. It's 104.5 The Zone. Welcome back to the show, fueled by Hattie B's Hot Chicken. Your phone calls are welcome. 615-737-1045 is the number. That's how you jump in if you want to. We're going to get to these AFC South positional rankings here in just a second. Go to the phones first. Philly Mike, what you got?
All right, guys. What's going on, man?
Not much. Good to hear from you.
All right, good. Hey, sorry I couldn't call in a little bit early. I had a meeting, sales meeting with Publix, but I did hear the topic of franchises that didn't have success. And I have two, one college and one pro. Texas A&M, to me, is a great program, a lot of money, but they've never won anything, football, basketball, baseball, so forth and so on. So the Aggies would be my choice for college. But for the pros, the lowly Atlanta Hawks. Now, this organization, you talk about middle of the road. They've been middle of the road ever since they got to Atlanta in 1968 after moving from St. Louis. They are one of about 2 to 3 teams that have never reached the NBA Finals, and they've been in Atlanta for 57 years. So you talk about a tough fan base. The Atlanta Hawks, for me, will be the pro team that is just sorry and just can't even get to the finals. So that's all I have, man. Have a great weekend, guys.
Thanks for the call, Mike. Yeah, it's Atlanta. Atlanta is a tortured sports city, for sure. And it's not just the 28-3 thing. Let me talk about a franchise, an NBA franchise lost in the wilderness. What the hell do the Hawks do when Trae Young is your best player? And like the best version of Trae Young is what Jalen Brunson is doing for the Knicks. Like that's what a competitive version of the Hawks would look like. But it's just Trae Young box score stuffing and then getting petulant when his team isn't as good as all these other teams because he's a ball dominant guard. They don't have any other options. The Falcons are in a weird spot. They benefit from a bad division or a poor division relative to the rest of the league. They still can't get a division title past the Bucks, at least not in the past 4 years.
Yeah, they've got the Georgia Bulldogs over there. They're doing okay.
And the vast majority of the state probably cares about the Georgia Bulldogs, but like the city of Atlanta should have better sports teams. You agree or disagree? The Braves obviously.
Yeah, they got a championship. They're doing fine.
I think if you talk to Atlanta sports fans, they would tell you they're not doing fine.
I don't want to hear a sports fan from a market whining and moaning about being tortured when they have multiple teams in their vicinity that have won championships within the last decade. I don't want to hear it. Braves have a World Series. If you're a Georgia fan, which most of them are, you've got not one but 2 national championships in the last 5 years. Don't want to hear it. Talk to someone in Minnesota that's never won jack, or Buffalo,
Tennessee,
that are perpetually cursed. Or Tennessee.
I got the Vols, but that's been a long time. 30 years is a long time.
Yeah, I don't want to hear the moaning from Georgia/Atlanta fans.
Your baseball team just won a national championship. You can shut up, too.
Yeah, I agree.
Look, that was awesome, but there are many Tennessee fans that would trade the entire program for one 10-win football season.
There are many people in the middle of South Dakota or even North Carolina who would do anything to even win that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, all of you guys.
Like that, Atlanta fans don't want to hear it. Don't want to hear it. No, we're so tortured. Literally won a World Series 2 years ago. You're fine.
Yeah, but in the important sport, football and basketball, like I'm sure there's a good portion of the city of Atlanta that would trade the baseball team for a successful basketball season or a successful NFL season.
Take your national championships and be happy.
So, position groups in the NFL, or in the AFC South. Is there a single position group that the Titans have the best player at their position relative to the rest of the AFC South? If I made you shout a position group out, that the Titans have the best player at their position group, or best group of players, you would say?
There's only one that even has a prayer to even be in the discussion. What was that?
Long snapper.
Oh, I stand corrected. There are 2.
What did you think?
2 positions that even have a remote argument. And that would be defensive tackle and long snapper.
No, DeForest Buckner is better than
Yeah, but he's 31 and he dropped off and wasn't very healthy last year. So I don't know about the trajectory of DeForest Buckner in 2025.
Well, that's fine. We're not doing trajectory. We're doing it's not just career accomplishment.
Or trajectory has to do with what's going to happen in 2025, does it not? Or this conversation has to do with the 2025 season?
Yeah, I'm saying generally, DeForest Buckner is a better defensive tackle than anybody on the Titans roster, yes?
Yes, but he is aging and spent most of last year injured, is what I'm saying.
Okay.
All I'm saying is you could make the argument with the healthy Jeffrey Simmons and the up-and-coming Tavondre Sweat as that tandem.
You counting on Jeff's health when he's been infinitely less healthy than DeForest Buckner is not something that I would stake an argument on.
Fair, but just going off of last year, Buckner had a big drop-off in terms of health. And maybe at the age of 31, he'll get back to being the player that he was, 8 sacks, 9 sacks a season, playing in every game. But there was a big drop-off at the age of 31 last year. And so we'll see what that looks like. Like I said, it's just a position that has an argument.
It's long snapper and punter. Those are the two.
I couldn't tell you who the Colts and Texans punter is.
Sure, but Johnny Hecker's better than both of them.
How can you say that without knowing who the others are?
I can, pretty confidently. When you look, all right, so DeForest Buckner's last season, he appeared in 12 games.
Rigoberto Sanchez?
Is he still? He's been there for a while then.
He's a pretty good punter.
He's not a terrible punter, but Johnny Hecker's better. DeForest Buckner, age 30, 12 games last year. He had 1 pass defensed. He had 8 tackles for loss. He had 14 quarterback hits, according to Pro Football Reference, and he had 6.5 sacks. That, for Jeffrey Simmons, would be one of the better seasons that Jeff has had in the last couple of years, yes?
DeForest Buckner, a better player than Jeff, for sure. But we're talking about the position group as a whole, right? Who is Buckner surrounded by at the moment?
I'll pull up the depth chart, but they have had a good front in Indianapolis. So, Leatu Latu is an excellent pass rusher.
Is he an excellent pass rusher?
He's an excellent pass rusher. He's not Jared Verse, where Teron Armstead is on SiriusXM NFL saying that Jared Verse is one of the reasons that he retired, which is a crazy thing. But Latu is an excellent pass rusher. Him and J.C. Latham, that should be a fun thing to watch moving forward. But he's excellent. There's no disputing that.
He's got 1 year under his belt where he had a solid rookie year. But, let's pump the brakes on he's
Buddy,
an excellent
I got a fan base
rusher.
telling me that Cam Ward is the next Steve McNair, and at least that player has played a full season. So Latu, is there a better pass rusher on the Titans than Latu?
No.
Okay.
Definitely not.
Thank you. But to me, really the only conversation to be had there for the Titans is long snapper. Because Morgan Cox is on the all-decade team. That's not just past production, that's current. He's going to keep doing it until they make him stop. Where would the next closest position group be? Because that's where you can actually get into the weeds on this. We know that best quarterback in the division, it should be Trevor Lawrence, but it is C.J. Stroud. Trevor Lawrence has not achieved those heights. Colts don't have a dog in the fight, and the Titans, we have no idea.
Grover Stewart is who plays next to
And Grover Stewart is a really good player.
Yeah, he's a solid player.
Grover Stewart, who had a better season last year, Grover Stewart or Sweat?
Oh, I'd be lying if I said I'd...
Okay, I can pull it up.
Yeah. And then we're also not mentioning Sebastian Joseph Day,
who is a quality player and a quality rotational piece. But beyond that, it's tough to go 3 deep at any position, really. 3 quality players. Jeff Sweat, and if you wanted to make the argument, it's not a bad argument. I'm not outright dismissing it.
I'm saying it's the only one outside of the special teamers that you can remotely make an argument for.
Grover Stewart played in all 17 games last year. He had 1 forced fumble, 3 passes defense, 1 fumble recovery. He had 3.5 sacks from the interior. I don't know how many fumble recoveries and then run returns. And then stiff arm the way that Sweat did against the Bengals. I don't know if he had one of those on his resume last year. Had 6 quarterback hits. Those are all statistically better than Sweat. But Sweat,
I still think they're different
upside.
players.
They are different players.
Grover's a little over 300. I know he probably played a lot of nose tackle last year for them, but he's not really. I wouldn't classify Grover Stewart as a nose tackle.
No, he's probably a better 3-tech, naturally.
Sweat's doing a lot of dirty work.
Yeah, he has to. You have to. At that size, you have to. Dirty work is a part of your job. And he's never going to be a finesse player, right? We're never going to, maybe there's a world in which we talk about a Tavondre Sweat 10-sack season, but that would be insane. Has Jeff had a 10-sack season?
No, I don't think Jeff has had a double-digit sack season.
I don't think so either.
If we're just talking regular season.
So, best quarterback room.
Yeah, 8.5 sacks in 2021 is Jeff's career high. DeForest Buckner had 8 sacks 2 years ago. His career high is 12 back in 2018.
So, best quarterback in the division, are we all aligned that it's C.J. Stroud? Even though C.J. took a dip and Trevor Lawrence, we could be having a different conversation, right, if they fix him?
Right now, it's C.J. Stroud.
Right now, it's C.J. Stroud. So, by that logic, again, right now, it's DeForest Buckner.
Yeah. No, DeForest Buckner, again, is a better player than Jeffrey Simmons right now. Absolutely.
But he's the best defensive tackle in the division.
Yeah.
Okay.
For sure.
That's what we're doing.
We're talking about the position group as a whole, though, are we not?
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
So, quarterback room, Texans. Running back room is an interesting conversation. Nick Chubb just signed with the Texans, but he's, far from the peak of his powers.
They've got all the running backs.
Joe Mixon is also there.
Dameon Pierce is still a Texan, and they just drafted, who was it, Robert? You've told me this
Tootin'
a million times. No. The Texans.
That's the name.
Woody Marks.
Yeah. Tootin' is the Jags.
So, Jags, I would be willing to entertain a conversation about the Titans running back room if Tajay Spears was healthy. And I mean, I don't know that he's not going to be healthy in 2025, right? But based on the first 2 years of Tajay Spears, he was sequestered behind Derek and relegated to a specific role that was never really going to help him because Derrick Henry was always there, even though Tajay made the most out of it. Tajay's rookie year made you excited about his sophomore year, and then his sophomore year was plagued by concussion, and the availability thing really hampered them. Brian Callahan has talked about this. Is there a discussion, though, if Tajay Spears is fully healthy, that the Titans have the best running back room in the division?
Tajay Spears has to prove he can be fully healthy for a season.
Because Tony Pollard is doing it's a hell of a lift that Tony did last year, but Tony Pollard is doing a lot of heavy lifting.
But even then, Tony Pollard having a career year and an impressive season with the Titans was, maybe we say, the third best running back in the division last year.
Yes.
Like Jonathan Taylor very quietly had an extremely productive season.
It wasn't like this thing that Titans fans were screaming about a couple years ago where they were outraged by the amount of MVP love.
And it wasn't as impressive in terms of overcoming bad quarterback play because the Titans had like another level of bad quarterback play that Pollard had to overcome. But let's not act like the Colts were a downfield threat at any point consistently last year in the passing game.
Consistently, no.
So Jonathan Taylor having a 1,400-yard season, just quietly, he had the second best season of his NFL career.
Who was that running back that ended up going to the Bengals that just took them for a walk last year? I'm blanking on his name. Or was that 2 years ago?
Took them for a walk.
Came from the Bears. They traded for him.
Was that Khalil Herbert?
Correct. Yep.
Oh. I do not remember him on the Bengals.
He was very forgettable.
Jonathan Taylor, Khalil Herbert. They drafted DJ Giddens in the 5th round this year, so it's probably still the Colts. If we're just going off recency bias, Jonathan Taylor is the best running back in the division, and they, without knowing enough about the Titans. Now, maybe the Texans have the deepest. They have the most options. How much on a curve do you account for that? Because if Jonathan Taylor goes down, the Colts don't have a running game.
He's the best running back in the division, no question. The guy's 26 too. Like he's still relatively young.
He's only 26.
He's 26, and he won't be 27 until January.
That's wild.
So he's indisputably the best running back in the division. The deepest running back room is the Texans running back room. I mean, Joe Mixon is also coming off a career year. Like, honestly, the running back position is relatively healthy in the AFC South. And it'll be interesting to see how the Jags utilize ETN in that running back room with Liam Cohen calling plays.
Wide receiver. The Texans have injuries, but they do have Nico Collins. Tank Dell, I don't know when we expect Tank Dell back.
That was a pretty gruesome injury.
They drafted Jaden Higgins and Jalen Noel.
Tank Dell got hurt at the end of the season, too.
So the Texans, Nico Collins, they're 3 deep right now, is Nico Collins, Jaden Higgins, and Christian Kirk.
Yeah, Dell is likely to miss the entire season.
Then when you get into the depth, they have John Mechie, Jalen Noel, Xavier Hutchinson, and Justin Watson, and Braxton Berrios. The Colts skill players are interesting here, too, with A.D. Mitchell, Michael Pittman, Alec Pierce, and Josh Downs. And they're all healthy. I might take the Colts wide receiver room. Brian Thomas Jr. is the best receiver in the division. He's certainly the most talented. Nico Collins is probably the best receiver.
Yeah, right now. Brian Thomas Jr. has the highest ceiling right in the division at the moment.
I'm going to await, I will reserve judgment on the Travis Hunter wide receiver experience until we actually get to see that play out.
Yeah, Titans, you'd probably rank 4 out of 4 at the wide receiver spot in the division.
Jags, I don't know. It's Brian Thomas Jr., Diami Brown, and Travis Hunter.
I'd still Brian Thomas Jr.
There are more known commodities on the Jags wide receiver core than there are the Titans.
Yes. Who are the known commodities? Brian Thomas Jr. and Diami Brown?
Yes.
Titans have Calvin Ridley and Tyler Lockett. And Lockett at this age, he's a known commodity because people know his name.
He's going to be 34.
Yeah. I don't know, man. Nico Collins is a damn good player. I think
right, but that's one player.
I think I'd lean Texans at the top of this list. Nico Collins.
If Tank Dell was healthy, I would absolutely agree with you.
And it's the way that they invested in the wide receiver position in the draft, which I understand those guys are unproven. Christian Kirk can be that wide receiver too. And John Mechie came on last year in a way that went kind of under the radar. I think I would lean with the Texans as the best receiver core in the division.
Offensive line is the curious one here.
And also, quickly before you move on, I get what you're saying with the Colts, but I get more excited as just a football fan thinking about Brian Thomas Jr. and Travis Hunter than I do Michael Pittman, Josh Downs, Alec Pierce.
Sure, but that's the unknown. And one's a highlight reel player, and the other one you have no idea. He's just an unprecedented player. Those are three quality players. And I would argue that they go 4 deep as far as the quality there. Hell, Ashton Doolin's a good player. He's a quality player, especially depth. There's a lot of skill players in Indy that the only thing that they can't figure out is the quarterback. Offensive line, I really don't know how to answer that question because it should be the Titans. But Lloyd Cushenberry is working his way back. Dan Moore Jr. is serviceable, let's call him. Peter Skoronski and J.C. Latham's trajectory would make me think that they are ascending players and they are quality players. Kevin Zeitler's 35, but he's still one of the best players at his position. Maybe that falls off a cliff this year, but we don't have that information yet. It would be crazy if the Titans ended up fielding the best offensive line unit in the division.
Yeah, on paper, I suppose it has the potential to be.
Indy's a mess.
There's still some ifs to be sorted out with the Titans.
Sure, but
if
look at
Lloyd
the ifs across the
Cushenberry hits
division.
the ground running.
Walker Little, rather, is the left tackle in Jacksonville. Bernard Raymond is the left tackle in Indianapolis. Like, Dan Moore may not be the best left tackle in football, but the Texans just jettisoned Laramie Tunsil for Cam Robinson, who is famously in this division and not a great player. And I know I'm just doing left tackles there, but there's a lot of moving pieces and parts division-wide across these offensive line units that, it used to be you could just say Indianapolis and be right. And not just because of Quentin Nelson. Ryan Kelly was a good player for a long time. Costanzo was there as a left tackle. It's been a couple of years.
Yeah, but Nelson's still there, and still I would say is one of the best offensive linemen in the division.
Yeah.
Arguably the best.
Maybe we can do this on defense another day. You guys, I'm Robert. All right, very good. 615-737-1045. Last call for phone calls. An unfortunate update with the Nashville Predators we'll tell you about next. We'll update some polls, get out of here for the weekend. I'm Buck Rising. It's 104.5 The Zone. There's no better place to get your next vehicle than Two Rivers Ford. They are award-winning as far as their customer service goes because they do things like employee pricing for everyone. That's right. You pay what they pay on almost every new Ford on the lot. It's just one of the many things that Two Rivers Ford has done over the course of its 40-plus year existence to make the car buying process fast, easy, and more fun for you. They also make it cost-effective. With the employee pricing, they also offer you incredible financing rates for you to get the vehicle that fits your family's budget and your needs. That's why I'm a customer at Two Rivers Ford. Coach Dave McGinness, Ramon Foster, Don Davenport, and so many others work with the South's most trusted Ford dealer because they go above and beyond for you. Quality American-made Ford vehicles and award-winning customer service, a non-commissioned sales staff that doesn't put any pressure on you throughout the car buying experience. That's the Two Rivers Ford difference. Two Rivers Ford in Mount Juliet or online at tworiversford.com, the South's most trusted Ford dealer. Last call for phone calls. If you got them, we'll wrap it up for the week. 615-737-1045 is how you get it done. Just a quick note here from the Nashville Predators, and this was it was too bad that this is something that this is something that has become a story, but Roman Josi, they put out a statement yesterday. Roman Josi was diagnosed with, 2 days ago, diagnosed with POTS. It's postural tachycardia syndrome. Forgive me if I butchered that second word. Toward the end of the 2024-2025 season, he has been undergoing treatment since that diagnosis and is progressing exceptionally well. We concur with Roman that with continued management and treatment, he can return to the ice for the 2025-2026 season and continue with his elite hockey career. We look forward to seeing Roman at the start of training camp this fall. So that's a statement from Barry Trotz. Now, I'm not super familiar with POTS as an affliction. I do know one person that has it. From my understanding, your heart rate can elevate basically at any given moment, no matter how minor the physical exertion is, and it can be incapacitating, which would obviously be a problem if you're a professional athlete and having to operate through that. I can't imagine what that was like to work through at the end of the season. Did he miss time?
Oh, I mean, it wasn't an injury-riddled season for Roman Josi. Let's see, 35 years old. He just turned 35.
Happy belated.
19 days ago. But yeah, this is never something you want to see. So he played 53 games.
Okay. So he missed a chunk of time.
Yeah.
And, I'm sure that some of that was related, and any time that he was able to give them while dealing with that is impressive. But hopefully for his situation, it does sound like a condition that's treatable. I'm sure it has to be managed fairly meticulously, though. And as you get up there in age, that's probably not something that you want to be dealing with. It's just it's a tough spot for the Preds to be in, but hopefully Roman is going to be able to handle all this in stride, and that they surround him with the proper medical expertise to make sure that he can do this in a way that's safe. That's the only thing you worry about when you start to get older players who get up there with significant injuries. This is obviously a medical condition as opposed to an injury, but it's just, you don't want them to do something to their detriment. They sound pretty confident, though, in him being able to do what it is that Roman Josi does at a high level without experiencing a flare-up, for a lack of a better term.
Yeah, so he took that hit from Sam Bennett against the Panthers in February, and basically that ended his season with that concussion. I had completely forgotten about that, to be honest.
We were watching so little Predators games.
And he was diagnosed during the recovery from the concussion. But he plans to be back next year. He was just named to the Swiss national team for the 2026 Winter Olympics. So it seems like it will be manageable for Roman Josi. But definitely not fun news yesterday.
So when we get back together, we will have the results of the NBA Finals. Game 7 is Sunday night at 7 o'clock. I cannot wait. It's going to be electric. At least I hope it's electric. I hope it's not an OKC ass-kicking the way that the Pacers were able to smack them down last night. I hope it's good. I obviously want the Pacers to win, but I was glad to see Halliburton at least put up a fight and then manage him correctly, because my biggest concern, because this is how I felt about Nesmith too. He's been dealing with, is it an ankle or a knee injury? Either way, he's battled through some injuries. They've played a lot of basketball. The playoffs are exhausting. Load management exists for a reason, even though it's something that people bemoan. And these guys are exhausted. They're at the end of their wits trying to win a championship, and now they're going to the final game. So as long as it's high-level competitive basketball, that's all I really want, even though I would actively love to see the Pacers win the first championship in franchise history. That would be really cool. Do you guys have any vested interest one way or the other? Surely you're not rooting against the mighty Pacers just because of me.
No, I barely associate you with the Pacers.
That's fair.
I've not had... the only thing I've rooted for in this series is for it to go to 7, and it is.
Mm-hmm.
So truly, I like the Pacers. I don't know, man. Both of these franchises, both of these teams are so likable to me. Like the Pacers just so scrappy, and the Tyrese Halliburton just saga all year long.
I would root for OKC against literally any other franchise.
But the Pacers have so many likable players, though. Pascal Siakam, TJ McConnell. How can you root against a guy like TJ McConnell? But on the flip side of that, just the way the Thunder have built this thing, such a young team and just these burgeoning, they've been like a supernova this year with the performances from SGA and from Jalen Williams. It's hard. Like if either one of these teams were playing, like you said, name a powerhouse franchise in the NBA, it'd be so easy. Be so easy to root for them. But I don't know. I think I'd lean Pacers. Pacers, just because at the end of the day,
they fight, man.
Yeah, and
they fight.
Thunder are the 1 seed, right? Like the Thunder were the best team in the regular season. Even if they feel like this sort of underdog story because it's a small market, because these guys have just sort of burst onto the scene, they are still comprehensively the best team in the NBA in the 2024-2025 season, yes? So, yeah, I'm riding with the Pacers because it would be legitimately one of the more stunning NBA champions in, let's say, the 21st century. This team in India, what were they, the 6th seed in the East? Or
they're 4.
4 seed. But, yeah, I think I'd ride with the Pacers to do it on the road.
Man, but you wouldn't pick them.
No. The Thunder are going to win.
But I mean, even last night, I was so leaking confidence just based off the Game 5 performance, and then they came out and smacked them in the mouth. And OKC also played one of the worst games that they've played in the postseason, if not the worst game that they've played in the postseason. So we'll see what the results of the finals are, and hopefully it's in the Pacers' favor. Polls.
Presented by Two Rivers Ford, the South's most trusted Ford dealer. What's the most positive story that you've seen in sports this week? Ashley says the Titans rookie class being out in the community with the hot chicken contest, hanging out at Hattie B's, smashing some hot chicken. It was impressive stuff from Femi Oladejo with the Shut the Cluck Up challenge. He just kept going.
No, it wasn't Shut the Cluck Up. They were giving them they were leveling them up throughout the course.
Oh, yeah, but they got up to Shut the Cluck Up.
They did get there, yes, and Femi did win the hot chicken
did not
challenge.
slow down. So, smart move by the Titans rookie class to go to the best hot chicken in Music City and the world.
Then they took him to mid-ass Canes. I mean, what are you doing?
Can we talk about Canes? I am so sick of the love that Canes gets.
You better be careful. They're throwing money everywhere, even though we already have chicken overlords.
I don't care. Okay. I don't want Canes. All right? No.
You're taking a stand against corporate greed?
Number one, we're Hattie B's ride or die. But
Always.
Besides that, it's just chicken tenders, man.
Yeah.
Like, there is nothing special about it. Blows my mind the way people freak out over Raising Cane's. It almost gets me upset.
No, they've made them an event, though. Like, they are so savvy with the marketing that they have turned chicken tenders into an event.
It's the most overrated chain. It's got to be the most overrated chain in America. It's just chicken tenders.
I don't know if you could say that.
It is just regular old chicken tenders.
There are so many overrated chains in America.
Yes, for sure. But I can't even wrap my head around the fascination with Canes. Oh, we're going to have Canes at this. Oh, great. You might as well put some Tyson tenders in the air fryer. It tastes the same to me. Anyway.
We're a Hattie B's show.
That's right. HattieB.com and download the Hattie B's app. Eldon says Arkansas losing another gift-wrapped national title. That was his. A lot of people submitted Arkansas choking as their Friday Fire. Who is the most overdue team or franchise for a championship? V-Love says every team I root for, that being the Vols, the Titans, the Preds.
No, because Tennessee, I mean, again, if we're lumping pro and college in there, the Vols just won a national championship last year.
Keith says my beloved Vikings. Minnesota teams, just generally, have yet to take home a championship.
Yep.
Jake says the Miami Dolphins.
It's Buffalo. The answer is the Buffalo Bills. They have, at least, especially now that they're this good again and that they can't get past Mahomes, it's the Bills.
Which Titans position group ranks as the best in the AFC South? Brian says punter. Kenneth is going defensive tackle. Mr. Donkey says special teams. Like, there might be some special teamers you can put up there, but coming off the disaster. I mean, Bones Fossil, he's got work to do, and he's one of the best special teams coaches in the business, but I don't think you can put the special teams unit at the top of the division after what happened last year.
No,
got a lot of work to do.
They're historically awful.
UW says punter and long snapper Zulu says the interior of the defensive line, just talking about the group in general.
Sure.
Which Browns quarterback won't make it to the 53-man roster? The vast majority, about 58%, are going with Kenny Pickett. Second is Shedeur Sanders. Third in the voting is Dylan Gabriel. Only 11% voted Joe Flacco.
I feel like that's right.
Those are the polls.
That feels like a good order. That's the show. We got a big weekend. Lucas has a dog birthday party and also his fiance. See you Monday.